Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Apocalypse of 100 Demons. I became the strongest demon tamer. Chapter 81. Chen Qing was a little dazed. Judging from Zhu usual words and deeds, he is undoubtedly a big boss of the Ghost Clan. His cultivation must be ridiculously high, but now his eldest brother wants to mess with him. These are for you, give them to your ghost pet quickly, and you should also practice hard. Chen Qing took the Chenkin bag, which was full of ghost beads, more than those given by Dao Guanji. Chen Quan handed over another jade that looked like a quail egg. It was very light, and I found that it looked like an eggshell when I got it. It was just a thin layer. The thickness was the same as the gold inlaid jade in the mall that deliberately cheated people and broke at the touch. Keep this to save your life. If you are in danger, crush it. I or my father will come to save you. Chen Qing smiled, very happily. If I had known that you were also in the Earthly Branches Summit, I wouldn't have spent so much money to send you paper knives and paper armor. Chen Quan laughed and scolded, what a big loss. But I love this loss. Ha ha ha. After thinking for a while, he asked again, do Xiaoman and you have any weapons that suit you? Xiaoman has a wooden armor and wooden boxing gloves, which are spiritual weapons, but I don't know how powerful they are. I have a Kunwu sword and a bronze sword that is about to awaken. In this way, you use Jin Buhuan to turn Xiaoman's boxing gloves into golden boxing gloves. Can it be like this? Chen Qing was slightly startled and nodded. Then why do you usually use gold? I used it to turn stone into gold twice. Golden body. Yes, the Yuan embryo golden body. The ghost pet will practice faster when placed next to the golden body. Chen Quan was stunned for a while. Can it be used like this? Then don't order the boxing gloves, order the golden body, I'll find the boxing gloves for you. He frowned again. I think of a way to let Xiaoman practice in the tower. Chen Quan also has the demon suppression tower, so he naturally knows that only the master and the ghost pet can enter. Everyone, it's almost time. Just as he was talking, Rat Boss announced that the time for the party was almost up. Chen Quan rubbed his hair. Why is the time for this party so fast? Chen Qing felt the same way. He and Chen Quan had too many things to say. Xiaoman and you must take care of yourselves. Hurry up and upgrade the white bone spirit to a dragon bone skeleton. With the evil spirit level, you will be much safer. If there is danger, you must crush the space stone. Don't save the spirit stone and ghost beads, use them vigorously. By the way, the road is too far. It may take us 10 days to deal with the candle snake. The Chen Quan in the memory was taciturn, but now he kept chattering. Chen Qing listened silently, with warmth in his heart. Mom and Dad, you must take care of yourselves too. While speaking, the world in front of him changed, and Chen Qing had returned to the rooftop warehouse. Slightly absent-minded, after a while, he put his mind back. Arrived at the gym, just as he was about to talk to Chen Man about Chen Quan, he saw Chen Man playing with a silicone doll. Chen Qing's face was full of black lines. What are you doing? Chen Qing, is this a training dummy? Ah, yes. What is it for training? Quote. Chen Qing was speechless for a while, but he didn't have the habit of lying to Chen Man, so he euphemistically said, training the little dick. Chen Man had no expression on his face, but Chen Qing, who knew him well, knew that Chen Man was shocked at the moment. Sure enough, Chen Man unzipped his pants and tried to look at his little thing. Can the little dick be trained? Ah, yes. After being shocked, Chen Man said loudly, I want to train too. Chen Qing felt itchy on his head, as if he was going to grow a brain again. Quickly change the subject. I saw my elder brother. Chen Quan. Chen Man's thoughts were immediately diverted. Has he grown a little taller? Quote. If he grows any taller, he will break through the ceiling. He said that we should all work hard to practice, and when we are very powerful, our parents and elder brother will come back to see us. Okay, I will work hard to practice. Chen Man clenched his fists. Chen Qing, teach me how to train my little penis. Quote. Ziba. After going around in a circle, I came back again. Chen Qing's head itched terribly. Ding dong. Just then, the phone rang. You practice well, I'll call back. Quickly came outside and breathed a sigh of relief. The message came from the community group. Now there are many groups in a mess, and Chen Qing has been pulled into more than a dozen of them. The 3rd of July 202 Ganyu, single-parent pregnant mother, whose family has how many? Food. There is no food at home. I don't care, but I have a baby in my belly, please help me. Quote. Pregnant mother cried with red eyes. JPG. It's not easy for everyone, and I don't have much at home, I'll share 2 bags. I have a box of biscuits. I have a few potatoes. I can give you 2 packs of vegetarian noodles. Soon, 4 people spoke in the group. Thank you everyone. Good people will have a peaceful life. Ganyu asked again. I'm in 202, building 7, number 3, can you help me deliver it? Everyone was shocked now. You kindly give you things and are responsible for delivering them to your door. Who dares to go out now? It's a bit ungrateful, right? You kindly give it to you, and you still want us to deliver it to your door. Ganyu said again. I'm sorry, it's my fault, but I have a baby in my belly, and I can't walk. Quote. From your photos, it looks like you're only 7 months old, isn't that possible? Everyone was talking at once, and suddenly someone said, let me help you. Where are the things you want to give her? I'll come get them. The 4 families all reported their locations. Ganyu thanked them repeatedly. After waiting for half an hour, Ganyu asked again, where's that kind guy? Why hasn't he come yet? The community wasn't that big, and he should have been there in half an hour. He came a long time ago, and I've already given it to him. I gave him mine, too. Soon, several people added that person. That person left the group without hesitation. You fool even cheated me for food. Everyone was cursing. Do you know where he is? Get him. It was too dark, I couldn't see him. Everyone was talking at once. Ganyu started crying again, how can we live like this? Quote. Just when I was complaining, someone suddenly posted a video. In the video, a man and a woman were eating. It wasn't sumptuous, but it was pretty good. This video should have been shot from the 4th or 5th floor next door, and it was quite clear. The person who posted the video cursed. Ganyu, do you have any shame? You still say you have no food at home. What is this food? Also, someone kindly agreed to give you something, but you actually asked someone to send it to you. Your man is not dead yet. Aren't you afraid that the child you give birth to will have no anus? Quote. At this point, the group went haywire. Tons of dirty words were thrown out. Ganyu cursed and pulled the curtains, and left the group directly. Chen Qing looked at the surveillance and the group, very calm. It's only been 3 days, what's the point of this little bit of scheming? But it was precisely because of this scheming fool that kindness came to an end. At the same time, it also sounded a wake-up call to many people. Some people, even if there is food at home, are already trying to get more food. Maybe because of Ganyu, someone in the group immediately posted a message, 2,000 yuan, looking for a box of instant noodles. Quote. The person who posted the news was the 2nd of February 601 Ma Jingyu. Everyone was familiar with him. Half of the shops in the row at the entrance of the community belonged to him. He had assets worth tens of millions. Seeing the news that a box of instant noodles cost 2,000, everyone felt a little nervous for some reason. No one was selling. Gao Fei suddenly said, Chen Qing's family bought them by the truckload. Ask him, he should be able to sell them. The price of instant noodles is too high. 2,000 yuan, looking for a box of instant noodles. Gao Fei suddenly said, Chen Qing's family buys them by the truckload, you ask him, he should sell them. Chen Qing looked at the news and his eyes narrowed gradually. Normally, this is just a sarcastic remark, but in the end times, this sentence can even sentence him to death. In addition to the last time she wanted her whole family to move into Chen Qing's house, this is the 2nd time she has offended Chen Qing. Ma Jingyu immediately at Chen Qing. Chen Qing, are you selling? Ma Jingyu is not a good person. If you really want to buy it, you should add Chen Qing to chat privately. Saying this in the group is either stupid or bad. Everyone was waiting for Chen Qing to reply. If he said, sell, it would prove that Chen Qing's family had surplus food. It's okay now, but in a few days, he might become the target of someone with ulterior motives. But, would Chen Qing be afraid of these things now? The whole community combined is not enough for Wu Zhuangyuan to fight. I don't have instant noodles at home. Gao Fei immediately retorted. You are lying. You have. When your family built a safe house, I saw a truckload of things, including canned food and instant noodles. I don't have instant noodles at home. Who the hell eats that stuff? Chen Qing directly sent a photo. In the photo, Chen Qing and Uncle Shaw are having a big meal. There is red wine, lobsters bigger than the plate, big pork elbows steaming, and a whole roast chicken. At this moment, everyone was silent. Gao Fei typed several boxes full of words, deleted them, and gritted her teeth. It seemed that Chen Qing was eating her family's food. After a while, she said, "Do you feel guilty eating these things at this time? Aren't you afraid of choking to death?" Chen Qing smiled and replied, "But the juice is rich and smooth, and it goes down easily. There is no way to choke." Gao Fei, who was at home, suddenly screamed and banged her hands hysterically. LV Wei and Zhang Yuan watched silently, not daring to say much. Chen Qing's life is quite comfortable, unlike the rest of us who are suffering. Ma Jingyu spoke. His tone was not normal. So you still have a lot of food at home? Chen Qing smiled. Ma Jingyu, you are really looking for death. How can it compare to Boss Ma's money? After all, Boss Ma just took away a box of money from the warehouse. Then there was a video. In the video, Ji Luo and others were busy and exhausted, and a man sneaked into the warehouse and quickly took away the box of money. Not bad. The box of defense fund Ji Luo had stolen was stolen by him. Ma Jingyu felt cold all over, from his feet to his head. He immediately sent a friend request, Chen Qing. Chen Qing, delete the video. The second friend request, Chen Qing, remove the video. I'll give you 500,000. The third friend request, Chen Qing, I'm sorry. Remove the video. Hurry up. Chen Qing didn't respond. Ma Jingyu felt cold all over, and immediately made amends in the group. Haha, it's so easy to Photoshop videos these days. Chen Qing sent a screenshot of Ma Jingyu frantically adding friends. Look, I photoshopped another one. Ma Jingyu wanted to make amends, but his hands were shaking violently. Ji Luo suddenly sent a message, very good. Ma Jingyu's phone fell to the ground with a clang. It was only 5 minutes. Bang, there was a heavy sound from the door of his house. He jumped up suddenly. Panic. He panicked immediately. He was at a loss at this moment, with beads of sweat dripping from his head. He suddenly remembered something, quickly took out the box of money, ran to the toilet in a few steps, threw a lot of money into the toilet, and just as he was about to flush, he remembered that the toilet was frozen. What should I do? What should I do? Bang! The whole wall shook violently. Ma Jingyu couldn't help but scream, came to the window, and threw bundles of banknotes out of the security fence. He didn't care that his hand hit the security fence and cut it. One of the bundles of money was not tied well, and it fell apart when he touched it, dancing like petals in the wind and snow, floating everywhere. Bang! Kawa! The whole door rushed into the room with a pile of broken bricks. Dust was flying. Ma Jingyu froze by the window, and the ground was full of scattered banknotes. Listen to my explanation. Ma Jingyu was shaking violently. It's not me. It's really not me. Chen Qing photoshopped it. The video was photoshopped by Chen Qing. Ma Jingyu's brain was already a mess. Pointing at the scattered money on the ground, these are all Chen Qing's. Bang! Ji Luo punched him hard in the stomach. Puff! Ma Jingyu spat out a mouthful of blood and his body slowly bent down. His eyes were filled with fear and panic. While spitting blood foam, he was still shaking his head. I. Snap! A heavy slap cracked Ma Jingyu's left face, and his left face immediately swelled up. Ji Luo sneered and said to the people behind him, collect all the funds. Tie him to the warehouse. On the opposite building, several people were watching everything here, and some were recording. Maybe it was because of these people, or maybe Ji Luo still couldn't be cruel, he still didn't kill him. Of course, it is unknown what will happen after Ma Jingyu is tied to the warehouse. Someone in the group immediately sent a video. I can't believe that the one who stole the money is Ma Jingyu. No, his family is so rich, at least in the top 3 in the community, right? Is he sick? But this is too violent, right? How can you enforce the law like this? It's good enough that he wasn't beaten to death. I agree with Chief Ji's approach. Looking at the lively group, Gao Fei suddenly felt a little chilly. Ma Jingyu provoked Chen Qing, and he was messed up like this with just a few words. What about himself? Zhang Yuan whispered, Xiao Fei, you'd better not mess with Chen Qing. Why? Gao Fei suddenly exploded, like a cat whose tail was stepped on. What am I afraid of? I'm right, why should I be afraid? Huh. I didn't steal or rob. The hateful one is Chen Qing. He built such a big safe house and didn't let anyone in. Just like that, how many people have been killed? Huh. He is the biggest murderer in our community. Those who died should be blamed on him. Gao Fei was hysterical, and he hoarded so many things. What's wrong with sharing some with others? What's wrong? Can he finish it? Xiao Fei. Zhang Yuan still wanted to persuade him. Gao Fei was even more angry. Will he feel at ease if he watches his neighbors die? Xiao Fei. In the past, there were people fighting against the local tyrants. If he does this again, we will gather dozens of people, demolish his house, and divide up his things. Xiao Fei. Zhang Yuan shouted heavily. Gao Fei seemed frightened. She slowly turned her head and looked at Zhang Yuan in disbelief. You yelled at me. You yelled at me, for a stranger. The dead body was tied up in the warehouse. Ji Luo sneered at Ma Jingyu, who was tied up tightly in the warehouse. Chief Ji, please give me a chance. I was wrong, really wrong. Give me a piece of clothing, I will freeze to death. Ji Luo ignored him. Lock the door. You are lucky if you can survive. Wang Da and others looked at each other and slowly closed the shutter door. Ma Jingyu screamed in horror. You are deliberately killing people. You will go to jail. Help, help. There are too many empty rooms in the community now, so I just found one to be the headquarters. Ji Luo and his 6 younger brothers were discussing. Looking around, there was also a chill in my heart. Hong Ya and Chen Kun are gone. Originally I was planning to have a big fight with them. After the Ganyu incident, I'm afraid it will be difficult to even out the grain. Since yesterday, they have been planning one thing, to divide the grain equally. It's unknown how long the ghost tide will last. Some people have more food at home, some have less, and some have even run out of food. As the defense officer of the community, he can't watch someone starve to death. But he also knows that everyone has selfishness, and this matter is bound to be difficult. Especially after the Ganyu incident. Stinky. Ji Luo cursed in a low voice and asked, how is your public opinion survey? It's just like that. Those who are running out of food agree, and those who have food at home refuse to agree. Ji Luo is still hesitating. At this time, the phone rang. There is a friend request. At a glance, it's Gao Fei. Ji Luo has a deep impression of this woman who has always targeted Chen Qing, and he also has a good impression of her. Hello, sir. I am reporting under my real name. Chen Qing's family has hidden a lot of food and medicine. Oh, Ji Luo's eyes lit up. He knew that Chen Qing's family had abundant supplies, but if he really wanted to fight the local tyrants, he had to have a reason. This is called having a legitimate reason. He was not afraid of Chen Qing. In Ji Luo's opinion, Chen Qing and he were about the same. And there were still many people on his side. If it really didn't work, he would catch the fat boy in Chen Qing's family. He was not afraid that Chen Qing would not compromise. 11 people died in front of Chen Qing's house last time. It was his bad luck that he encountered that weird female ghost. It might be a female ghost of the evil ghost level. After a long time, Ji Luo finally made a decision. Okay, let's start with Chen Qing. As long as Chen Qing was dealt with, would anyone else dare to say no? At that moment, Ji Luo began to give orders. You guys, go ask if there is anyone who can shoot, preferably a veteran or something like that. When everyone heard that Ji Luo had a gun, they immediately became excited. He has a gun. If I can't deal with the ghost, can I deal with you? Ji Luo called Gao Fei again. Do you understand? We just want to occupy the moral high ground, to have a legitimate reason. Follow the will of the people. Understand, sir. This matter was originally Chen Qing who was wrong. Too greedy. Indirectly killed so many people. Gao Fei immediately agreed. I understand what you mean. An hour later, in the largest group, someone suddenly sent a message. Some people have run out of food, but some people have a serious surplus at home. I think in special times, everyone should share it with each other. The ghost tide has weakened so much today, and it will be over in 3 or 4 days at most. Are you still afraid of starving to death by then? I agree. Distribute everyone's food uniformly, so that the nutrition will be more balanced. Yes, for the neighbors who have made contributions, the community will not forget his merits and contributions. Most people were watching coldly, and only these 4 or 5 people sang the same tune. But soon someone with less food reserves at home spoke up. The 3rd of August 103 Lao Zhou, that's exactly what we should do. With equal distribution, we can definitely get through this difficult time together. In this special period, we must be aware, resilient, and humane. With a selfless spirit, unite all neighbors, share all supplies, and build an indestructible great wall against ghosts. Chen Qing sneered. Director Zhou, when my family was so poor and my brother and I almost starved to death, you didn't even want to distribute the money equally. What's the matter? Now the extra food reserves in my family are going to be distributed equally to you. Lao Zhou, young man, a person lives a lifetime, not just a body, but also a reputation. When you reach my age, you will understand that what is left in this world after death is the real you. You, Chen Qing cursed. Old beast, 6 years ago, I was so humble and servile to you. I went to borrow money from other places, and I went to your house, right? For 3 times, you kept asking your son to open the door, saying you were not there. Quote, you old beast, you want to be equal now, you are equal, you are equal. You still have the face to name names. You even a fool like Lu Yanhong, and you forgot that they had been fighting for several days. Do you know what your nickname is in the community? Quote, it's called God, this is your reputation in this world. Chen Qing cursed in one breath, and it was so refreshing. He found that he could be so happy when he was immoral. Just on the first floor of Chen Qing, a retired middle-aged man was looking at his mobile phone, and a stream of blood rushed up. The whole person trembled. This beast. Beast. Old Joe stood up suddenly. I will kill him. Quote. The middle-aged woman on the side watched coldly. Old Joe suddenly said angrily, why don't you stop me? Quote. Stop. Why should I stop? Weren't you very good at fighting when you hit me? The middle-aged woman sneered. I said I was going to stock up a week ago, how did you scold me? Long hair and short knowledge, women are all idiots, listen to the wind and rain, right? I am an idiot, the idiot is the one who listened to you. Now it's all right, haha. I will starve to death with you. Old Joe was so angry that he was shaking all over, pointing at the phone. This nickname of licking cultivation, you know it. You must know it. Why didn't you tell me? Quote. The woman laughed. Zhou Jincheng, is this nickname wrong? Don't you know what you are doing? Quote. Lu Yanhong, who was at home, was gritting her teeth. What did she do to anyone? The old shit is brought up again. This Chen Qing and that monster brother beat her family to the point of almost becoming disabled, and now they are provoking her. She looked at Huang Jian guiltily, fearing that Huang Jian would see the content. She limped over and was about to pick up her phone to delete the message, but Huang Jian suddenly grabbed her hand. What are you doing? Huang Jian sneered and looked at the phone, his expression quickly changed. It's all over. Lu Yanhong looked ugly. Huang Jian sneered. Come, let me see your cleavage. Lu Yanhong took off her pants in fear, and Huang Jian punched her hard at a certain place. Ah, quote, that noise, describing 1/9 of them will be banned. And the group became lively again. Because Chen Qing sent several photos. In each photo, there was a big meal, and Chen Qing even put a mobile phone next to the big meal to prove that it was now, and the mobile phone screen showed the current time. Most people actually disagreed with this average. At this moment, they were all cheering. Wow, this food is good. Why don't you send it to Director Zhou downstairs? That makes sense. Chen Qing nodded, and soon sent another video in the group. When they saw this video, many people gritted their teeth. In the video, Chen Qing cut the lobster into 2 halves, came to the window, and threw the other half out. Then all the dishes were thrown away in half. Chen Qing said a few words at the end of the video. My things, I decide. Quote, if you are not happy with me or want to rob me, come to the 1st of August 601 to find me. But if you step into this floor, don't blame me for being ruthless. The truth is that the world is not what it used to be. Nowadays, everyone talks about reason and morality all the time. But in 3 or 4 days, morality will not make sense. In 6 or 7 days, there may still be some humanity. After 10 days, humanity. In the last life, Chen Qing had a sentence in his heart. Anti-human. Wasting protein is the real anti-humanity. The protein that man was referring to was human flesh. In this world, a bodhisattva cannot survive. If there is an exception, it will only be the compassionate Gatling bodhisattva. Or the cyber Buddha. Chen Qing will definitely establish his authority, and as for who to use to establish his authority, whoever is stubborn will do it. The group became even more lively. Gao Fei angrily scolded. Chen Qing, don't be lawless. Don't think that no one can stop you. Monkey suddenly spoke slowly. When I saw these charges, I thought Chen Qing had committed murder and arson. After looking for a long time, it turned out that it was because he had a big meal at home. He deserves to be killed. Yes. No. What do you mean? In this special time, can you have a little dedication? Watching everyone die. Will you feel good like this? I remember when my parents stocked up instant noodles a few days ago, you and Huang Jian laughed happily. Now looking back, you are the stupid and stupid woman. You are shameless. Come on, if you have the ability, go and rob Chen Qing. If you don't have the ability, shut up, like an idiot. Ji Luo looked at Monkey's message and his eyelids twitched. Although Monkey is very weak, if he is on Chen Qing's side, there will be a lot of trouble. He ordered again. Be sure to pay attention to where the monkey is going. There were people in the group who kept denouncing Chen Qing. On Ji Luo's side, people gradually gathered. Have you found the girls? Not only did we find them, we found 2. Wang Da's eyes were full of pride. As he spoke, 2 girls came out. They were tall, good-looking, and looked almost exactly the same. Commander Ji, my name is Wang Yulu, and she is my sister Wang Yujia. We used to practice dancing, and later we practiced sanda. I am a black belt in Taekwondo. I can fight freely without rules. 99% of humans can't beat me. Not to mention the 2 of us together. Wang Yujia said, that Chen Qing is arrogant. He is selfish and has no education at all. If we don't give him a hard time, it would be a shame for the martial arts we have practiced for 11 years. Ji Luo was overjoyed. His biggest headache now is that Chen Qing has been hiding in the safe house. That safe house should have been very solid and cost a lot of money. With these 2 baits, the success rate doubles. After counting, there is a rifle and 2 pistols. Wang Da and Zhang Bucheng hid the pistols close to their bodies, hoping to catch them by surprise. A rifle was placed on the roof of the opposite building, waiting for Ji Luo's order. Chen Qing looked at everyone on the surveillance camera and sneered in his heart. If Manager Yang was still alive, he could have a drink with him with this. Chen Qing originally wanted to install surveillance cameras only in his building, but because there was no place to spend the funds, Manager Yang took the initiative to install surveillance cameras in the entire community. These surveillance cameras are all installed in voice-controlled lights, with normal and infrared modes. A relay station is set up in each building, and the 1080p images are transmitted to Chen Qing with almost no delay. Ji Luo thought everything was quiet, but Chen Qing saw everything. Painted skin, can you block the bullet? I am half indestructible, so it should be no problem, but I have never been hit by a bullet, so I am not sure. With a thought, Chen Qing took a rifle and came to the 3rd floor of the Demon Suppression Tower. Painted Skin withdrew from the possession and stood in front of Chen Qing. Chen Qing tried to shoot her foot. Bang! Painted Skin smiled. Master, it's a piece of cake. Chen Qing immediately shot at her. He fired a whole magazine directly, and nothing happened. Chen Qing finally felt relieved and returned to the room. On the other side, Ji Luo led everyone and slowly approached Building 8. Ding dong. Suddenly, the phone rang. Chen Qing, Ji Luo brought people to kill you. This is Chen Qing's friend, whose name is 3 letters, CXK. Looking through it, it has been more than a year, but there has been no communication, and there is not a single word in his circle of friends. Chen Qing didn't care and looked at the surveillance again. The man with the rifle came to the roof of Building 7, wearing a big windbreaker, and crawled in the wind and snow. Everyone slowed down their steps and walked slowly. They came to the stairwell between the 5th and 6th floors. Wang Yujia and Wang Yulu were in a row, both wearing military coats and only a suspender pajamas inside, with their chests clearly visible. Ji Luo made a gesture to silence everyone and nodded to the two girls. The two took a deep breath and knocked on Chen Qing's door. Chen Qing sneered and asked, "Who is it?" "Chen, brother Chen, can you let us in? As long as you can let us in, we can do anything. We don't have any weapons. If you don't believe me, just look. It's so cold outside. Brother Chen, please open the door. As long as you let us in, we can do anything." Chen Qing opened the door directly. The two girls were stunned. They didn't expect Chen Qing to be so stupid and open the door so easily. "Brother Chen." Wang Yujia rushed over. At the same time, Wang Yulu also rushed over. The two of them held Chen Qing's hands on the left and right, and were about to do a reverse clamp to hold Chen Qing down, but can't hold it down. Chen Qing's arms were like cast iron. The two of them used all their strength, but couldn't bend them at all. Both of them opened their mouths wide, full of disbelief. Chen Qing sneered, and two relics shot out from behind him. Puff, puff, two bloodlines soared. The two of them subconsciously covered their necks, but felt a warm hand. Large streams of blood immediately stained the entire chest. The man on the roof of Building 7 shuddered. The gun was equipped with night vision goggles, so he could see clearly what happened. His hand was on the trigger. The skinny and slender fingers of the coroner behind Chen Qing grasped a thin blade and slashed the air. The fingers of the gunman on the roof were still slowly exerting strength, but his head loosened, and the next moment, the head rolled down and fell dully beside him. The kunwu knife appeared in his hand. Chen Qing did not hesitate at all, and he rushed directly to Ji Luo in the stairwell with force. Ji Luo was horrified. Chen Qing's kunwu knife directly pierced his throat. However, at the moment of piercing his throat, Ji Luo's body moved slightly to the side. He moved half an inch, but he was able to avoid fatal injuries. The kunwu knife cut Ji Luo's left neck, and blood immediately flowed. Ji Luo's figure blurred and disappeared. Chen Qing frowned. "Kill, kill." Everyone was shocked and immediately swung their knives at Chen Qing. However, the knife was about to reach Chen Qing's face, and he threw the knife and his arm out violently. The man looked at his broken arm and screamed miserably. "Coroner, leave the muscular man and the dwarf to sew the wedding dress, and the rest are all yours. Let's make another big fat man." The dead body was buried, and the dead body was buried. As the master commands, the coroner nodded slightly, and gently drew his hands in the air. Puff, 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 arms suddenly fell. Everyone panicked. "Help, help, ghost, ghost, ah, ah." The shouts intertwined and echoed back and forth in the narrow stairwell. These people were like a bunch of unassembled parts, and in silence, all the parts of their bodies were scattered everywhere. In just a few breaths, everyone became a pile of broken limbs. Some people who had been made into human pigs were twitching and wailing at this moment. Only two people are left intact. Wang Da and Zhang Bucheng. The last time they came to smash the door, these two were the most active. As a reward, they will become the wedding dress of the embroidered girl. Wang Da has been working out for many years and is a muscular man. But at this moment, his legs are shaking and his pants are wet. Chen Qing, you won't. Don't worry, can you two be the same as them? No. Wang Da's whole body is trembling, his face is twitching, and he tries to squeeze out a smile after hearing this. Chen Qing didn't say anything nonsense, and with a wave of his hand, the embroidered girl appeared. Handing this place to the embroidered girl, Chen Qing rushed straight to Ji Luo's room. In Ji Luo's room, Ji Luo was very panicked at this moment, very panicked. He suddenly realized that Chen Qing, whom he had always regarded as an opponent, was no longer on the same level as himself. Chen Qing, my house ghost is about to be promoted to the chaotic court, and I will not spare you when the time comes. No, I can't stay here. I have to go. Ji Luo covered his wound randomly, but his body suddenly stiffened. In the living room, it seems, there is one more person. He turned around in horror and saw Chen Qing's calm face. Chen Qing, A flash of knife light passed, and Ji Luo's head fell to the ground. Sorry, I don't have the habit of leaving hidden dangers. Chen Qing waved his hand and took Ji Luo to the first floor of the demon suppression tower, and immediately rushed back. The body is still warm, it should be enough for wedding dresses, right? Just after going out, he was stunned. The monkey was holding a knife and walking towards here with murderous intent. The monkey was also stunned when he saw Chen Qing. Have you done it? So fast. Chen Qing did not answer, but asked, why are you looking for Ji Luo? To kill him. Monkey said. There must be no problem on your side. I'm afraid this guy will run away, so I'm here to stop him. Chen Qing laughed and put his arm around Monkey's shoulders. As he walked, he said, Monkey, let me tell you this, you are like an adult and a 3-year-old child compared to me now. It's useless for you to join in on things I can't handle, and I'm immortal. If I stab you, you'll be dead, understand? This is not a game, there's no second chance. Monkey was somewhat hit. This is not the case. After all, I still have Wu Fu and Butcher. I'm not kidding. Chen Qing handed over a bag of spirit stones. You, quickly upgrade to spirit essence, you are useless now. Monkey cursed, but still took the bag and left. When they returned, Wang Da's wedding dress had been made. Zhang Bucheng was working hard to make it. The current level of tragedy is full of sensitive words. The coroner, the embroidery girl, and all the parts were put into the 3rd floor of the demon suppression tower, and the hairy zombie and the water monkey were summoned to clean up the blood. Chen Qing returned home, thinking. Painted skin, Ji Luo's ability to teleport just now is a blood contract. Yes, his blood contract object is obviously the house ghost. If it is Luan Ting, it may be difficult for us to find Ji Luo. Chen Qing entered Ji Luo's room, and it was Chen Qing's Luan Ting who brought him in. I have to consider the blood contract too. Chen Qing has been hesitating about the object of the blood contract. The blood contract can highly integrate oneself with the ghost pet, and can share the blood, magic, etc. of both parties. For example, Ji Luo, he can use the house ghost's teleportation. Chen Qing has been hesitating about his blood contract object. If he wants a strong body, Zhang Kui is the best choice. After all, although this guy's brain is not very smart, his ghost energy value has now reached 2000. And he will definitely become stronger in the future. But on the other hand, Chen Qing is not very willing to fight by himself. The ghost pets can almost form 2 football teams, why should he take this risk? So life-saving skills are the most important, such as Jin Bu. In exchange for the shuttle space. But I was also afraid that I would draw the skill of turning stone into gold. Headache, difficulty in making choices. When I got home, the group was already noisy. Chen Qing, what did you do to my husband? Where is Chief Ji? Why can't I get through on the phone? Chen Qing, come out and answer. What did you do to them? Chen Qing took a look. Reply, all dead, not one was left. I said, once you step into this floor, don't blame me for being ruthless. Remember, you should all be grateful if I don't leave this room. The group was quiet. Gao Fei typed a bunch of words, but her fingers trembled and she deleted them all. She didn't believe it, but none of these people came back. The family members of the expedition team quickly formed a small group, all anxiously asking. Qingxi hasn't come back yet, is there really anything wrong with him? My husband hasn't come back either. I can't get through on the phone. Chen Qing can't be that powerful, I saw more than a dozen of them, and they have guns. What should I do? What should I do? How can I live without Li Jun? How can we live? Chen Qing's phone suddenly received a message. It was the ID called XCK, who just said to him, Ji Luo is coming to kill you. Click on the message. Chen Qing, this is Chengxi. I knew you were okay, how is it? I'll give you the news in time. Is it Chengxi? Chen Qing was suddenly stunned. She added him with a small account, and lurked for more than a year. What was her intention? After a moment, Chen Qing understood. She cursed inwardly. Scheming fool. Chengxi's small account is probably spying on many people. She is probably afraid that someone will block her main account, so she did this. She used the small account to tip herself off. The idea was very simple. Even if Chen Qing lost and the phone fell into Ji Luo's hands, he would not be able to find out who tipped off. Prepare for both situations. Chen Qing sneered and ignored her. Chengxi immediately sent another message. Chen Qing, my family is out of food. Can you support me a little? I'll borrow it. You are out of food too. It's only been 3 days. It's impossible. But soon, Chen Qing understood. If we say who was the most confident at the beginning, Chengxi was definitely one of them. The defense officer is her boyfriend and the deputy defense officer is her brother. Is it necessary for her to stock up on food? But now, these two major supports have been killed by Chen Qing, and she wants to find the next one to rely on. Chen Qing just sneered. Morning light, it's only the third day, there's still a long way to go. Chen Qing, I know I was wrong. I was blind before, can you forgive me? No response. Chen Shi was unwilling to accept it. What does Chen Qing lack now? Lack of women. Being locked in the house for 24 hours, there are so few things you can do. Just browse your phone and do some sensitive words. What's more and more applications have been closed. All you can do is to do sensitive words. Chen Qing has resources and strength. There will definitely be more and more women who want to pay for him. He has to hurry up. As long as she got into his bed once, she would be confident that he would never leave her again. After thinking for a while, she sent another message. You avenged my brother, I will repay you in this life, but I have nothing now, I can only promise you my body. Chen Qing sneered. Throwing the phone aside, Huapi suddenly said, Master, come and see, the second mummy was found on the third floor. The second one. Chen Qing was puzzled. What second mummy? Huapi pondered. Before, we found a mummy on the third floor, which should have reached the level of no form, so that the master can't remember it. Is there such a thing? Chen Qing tried hard to recall, and finally, he had a very faint impression in his mind. I have seen it, but I have no impression of it in a blink of an eye. If Huapi hadn't mentioned it, I'm afraid I would never remember it again in this life. Came to the third floor. The abandoned baby tower has been busy vomiting ghosts. It is extremely lively at this moment. There are hundreds of ghosts of all kinds wandering aimlessly. The most are baby girls, and there are also paper people, toilet ghosts, starving ghosts, air-eating ghosts, and crazy ghosts. Unexpectedly, the abandoned baby tower also vomited a plague ghost of the evil ghost level. These ghosts were driven out of the range of Big Golden Fatty and dared not come forward. Ghosts also have levels. Big Golden Fatty is surrounded by Chen Qing's 12 ghost pets. The coroner is studying the second, Big Golden Fatty, but this Big Golden Fatty is not like Big Golden Fatty at all. Coroner, what are you doing? The coroner immediately stood up and saluted. Master, Big Golden Fatty, was just put together temporarily to hurry on the road. It has no combat power and no speed. Now we make another one, of course, we have considered many aspects. It can run and gallop, and can go into battle to kill people. It's a pity that it has no wings, otherwise you can try to fly. Chen Qing was stunned and waved his hand. I understand. Good luck. The embroidered girl's human skin wedding dress came to the last minute. I was afraid that it would not be enough, so I prepared all the Ji Luo cards. Now it seems that it is not needed. Since Chen Quan gave a bunch of ghost beads, Chen Qing gave 5 to each ghost pet. Everyone improved very quickly. The white bone demon was almost beaten to death by Zhang Kui. At this moment, he has recovered his body and is trying to restore the cloak made of bones on his back. Everything went smoothly. Chen Qing followed the painted skin for more than 10 minutes and finally saw the second mummy that the painted skin mentioned. It was very huge. Even when sitting, it was 10 meters high. 4 huge iron chains pierced his body, and the other end was buried deep underground. From this appearance, the mummy has been sitting quietly for hundreds or even thousands of years. Although it is just a mummy, it has an indescribable horror aura. This is the second mummy found on the third floor. But I have no impression of the previous one. After thinking about it, Chen Qing took out a small notebook and wrote down, there are 2 mummies on the third floor. Painted Skin smiled. Master, it's useless. What's useless? Don't look at the notebook, think about what you just wrote. Chen Qing was stunned, his mind was in chaos. Right. What did I write in the notebook? Notebook. What notebook? The notebook in his hand turned over on the ground, and Chen Qing picked it up in a daze. The words were still there, but I just couldn't remember it. It's really weird. Chen Qing had no choice but to try a few more times. You can see all the details of the mummy with your eyes open, but you can't remember anything with your eyes closed. I can only vaguely remember what is in front of me. This is no appearance, don't force it. I had to return to the ghost pets. The embroidered girl's human skin wedding dress has been sewn, and she gestured with her chest and giggled. After a closer look, the flesh-colored background is covered with clusters of blood-colored peonies, which is elegant and luxurious. It's just that human blood is drawn. The bright red was a little creepy. Then look at the embroidered girl. She had delicate features, red lips and white teeth, especially her big eyes, which seemed to contain stars. She looked like a sunny and cheerful girl, not like a female devil sewing human skin. What surprised Chen Qing was that she was going to take off her clothes in public. Ah. Chen Qing stopped her immediately and made a small space for changing clothes in the chaotic court. The embroidered girl was obviously very happy and kept giggling. Then, the laughter stopped. The martial arts champion, the coroner, and others all looked over. After a while, a bunch of white or red flowers appeared on the ground. Each flower was only as big as a fingertip. A bare, white and tender foot stretched out. Slowly, a woman covered with a red veil appeared in front of him. Is this the flower-waist bride? The flower-waisted bride carried a small red leather bag and a small drum on her right waist. There was a chain on her left wrist with many small bells on it. The fair and slender hand shook lightly, and a series of crisp clanging sounds were heard immediately. Then, small bags grew on Chen Qing's body. The flower-waisted bride tapped the drum lightly. Boom! The small bags on Chen Qing's body burst, blood splattered, and a small red blood grew inside. Bold! The painted skin shouted, and without her moving, it had already wrapped around the flower-waisted bride, tightly wrapping her. The flower-waisted bride's whole body was clattering, as if it would explode in the next second. How dare you attack the master? You're courting death. Caw 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 caw. I was wrong, I was wrong. The flower-waisted bride cried, I can't control my magical powers yet. Ah, master, spare me, master, spare me. Chen Qing naturally didn't think the flower-waisted bride would hurt him. Of course, there had to be punishment. The caw 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 caw. Okay, spare her this time. The painted skin let go of the flower-waisted bride, and she instantly returned to being a human. I thank the master for not killing me. The flower-waisted bride was covered with a red veil, breathing heavily. It's okay. Chen Qing took out a bag of ghost beads. I'll give you 5 as a reward. What do you want? The flower-waist bride thought for a while. Do you have any from the flower girl? Huh. Chen Qing was curious. Why, you all like the flower girl's ghost beads. Women love beauty, and the flower girl's ghost beads are very useful to female ghosts. Painted Skin explained vaguely. Chen Qing didn't care. Said, Painted Skin, you go out to guard the house, I'm going to practice on the 3rd floor. Okay, master. Painted Skin happily took the order and left. Chen Qing has only 3 real ghost pets, Zhang Kui, Painted Skin, and Jin Buhuan. Let's not talk about Zhang Kui, he's unreliable max. Jin Buhuan's intelligence is too low. The one he trusts the most is naturally Painted Skin. As soon as Painted Skin left, Chen Qing took out the Chenkin bag given by Dao Guanji. There are dragon bones in it. We must quickly upgrade the white bone spirit to the evil spirit level. Only when there is an evil spirit guarding the house will you feel at ease. The ghost spirit value of the white bone demon has reached 259. With enough ghost beads and 2 golden bodies, the speed of improvement is very fast. Chen Qing is still hesitating about the object of the blood contract. If he chooses Zhang Kui, with Zhang Kui's terrifying blood and ghost energy, his body will definitely leap a few steps. However, the most important thing about the blood contract is the magical power. Generally speaking, the ghost pet of the blood contract basically has only one magical power, no doubt about it. But Zhang Kui has too many magical powers, and it is hard to say what he can get by picking the prize. And what Chen Qing wants most is Jin Buhuan's magical power of traveling through space. The bad thing is that Jin Buhuan has 2 magical powers, with a 50% chance, which is neither higher nor lower. After thinking for a long time, he simply called out Zhang Kui. Zhang Kui, I want to make a blood contract, but I don't know whether to choose you or Jin Buhuan. Zhang Kui's wisdom seemed to have increased a lot during this period, and he spoke more fluently. I am worth 10. No, I am worth 100 Jin Buhuan. But, I want the ability to travel through space. I have it too. To prove it, Zhang Kui suddenly disappeared. At the same time, his body had appeared 100 meters away, smiling foolishly and waving, "Here, here, do you see it?" The ghosts summoned by the abandoned baby tower were all frightened by Zhang Kui and collapsed to the ground. The better ones fled desperately. Zhang Kui appeared in front of Chen Qing again. Zhang Kui was very proud. How is this, divine movement, of this immortal? Good, very good, too good, too good. Zhang Kui was happier and happier as he listened, and figured out something, and asked, "What is too good?" "You have too many magical powers. What if I make a blood contract with you and get strange magical powers?" Zhang Kui was stunned. The two free-spirited eyes also stopped moving. No, 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 Zhang Kui shook his head fiercely. You can't bear the two magical powers that are worth more than gold. What do you mean? Zhang Kui just shook his head. Can't bear it, can't bear it. His thinking seemed to have entered a dead end, and he muttered to himself, then how can you, the seat, bear it? Yes, 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 can't bear it, can't bear it. As he said, his figure floated like smoke and mist, and he watched him disappear in front of his eyes. Chen Qing thought for a moment and asked, "Painted skin?" Zhang Kui said, "I can't bear the magic of Jin Buhuan." "Master, do you know what is the first of the 36 Tiangong magic?" "What? Mediate the creation." Nuwa used this method to create the entire human race. Can you bear this kind of magic? You must not be able to bear it. For example, the second method of Tiangong, which reverses yin and yang, can cause the world to lose order, the sun and the moon to become abnormal, the yang to be hidden and not to come out, and the yin to be forced and not to emit. Now the blood moon is hanging high. If you don't reply, I think it's this magical power. Can you bear it? Quote. You must not. This is what Master Zhang Kui meant. There are some powerful magical powers that you, the Master, can't bear now. Maybe Master Zhang Kui saw that Jin Buhuan's two magical powers are a bit special. Chen Qing was afraid. That is to say, if I make a blood contract with Jin Buhuan, the moment I get the magical power, I may. Master, don't worry about the blood contract. Let's think of a way. It can only be like this. Chen Qing is worried. Others think that the skills of ghost pets are too low level, but what about me? I dare not make a contract because the magical power of ghost pets is too powerful. He was ruthless in his heart. Then learn the Duobao Daotong first. I don't believe that I can't bear the magical power after swallowing 1,000 or 800 spiritual tools. At that moment, he sat cross-legged and began to build the soul power channel. The 8 soul powers were dispersed, and at the same time, the meridian channels were expanded. These tiny meridians were blocked, and it was even more difficult to expand them for the first time. Fortunately, Chen Qing had excellent resilience and gritted his teeth to persist. Time passed little by little, and when his soul power was exhausted, he absorbed spirit stones to replenish it. 2 days passed like this. Master, the meat cart is ready, please give it a name. The voice of the coroner interrupted Chen Qing. Chen Qing looked and saw that the coroner had already made to be precise, a centipede. The body of the centipede is made up of the human torso, and the legs are naturally human legs. The strange thing is that there are many hands on it, which are slowly opening and closing. The most creepy thing is the head of the centipede. 13 human faces, sewn on a person with only the upper body, standing upright. Looking around, Chen Qing felt a tingling sensation on his scalp. He quickly summoned Jin Buhuan and began to turn the meat into gold. Jin Buhuan, Jin Buhuan, Jin Buhuan, quote. Jin Buhuan, Jin Buhuan, Jin Buhuan. Jin Buhuan jumped into the meat centipede. The meat centipede began to turn into gold, and the moving hand slowly solidified and covered with a layer of golden color. After spreading about 30%, the gold transformation stopped. It seems that Jin Buhuan needs to come twice. There is no way to rush this. Chen Qing continued to practice, and on the 7th day, Jin Buhuan's pocket was full of gold ingots again. So the second gold transformation. On the 13th day, the third gold transformation. The whole blood centipede finally turned into gold. It used to look extremely creepy, but now it has a holy aura. Sure enough, local tyrant gold can cure all intensive phobia. Then throw the golden centipede into the ghost energy. Just as he was about to move, he suddenly saw a flash in front of his eyes. Zhang Kui appeared. You were injured. Who hurt you? Quote. Chen Qing was shocked. At this moment, Zhang Kui had 20 or 30 golden coffin nails nailed to his body, and his whole body was stained with blood. Zhang Kui has always been unreliable, but his fighting power has always been very reliable. Chen Qing couldn't imagine who hurt him like this. God, hee. Hey, Zhang Kui grinned weakly. No one can hurt this immortal. This is what I stabbed myself. Ha ha, ha ha. Zhang Kui smiled weakly, full of pride. Chen Qing was a little confused. What? With my strength, it's difficult to stab these. Do you know the 7 arrows? It's the Tiangong magic power that Liu Ya used to secretly plot against Zhao Gongming. Ha ha, I am really a smart man of my generation. Tisk 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 tisk. How many people in the world can think of such a method? Chen Qing was still confused. No, what's wrong with you? Quote. He. Zhang Kui smiled proudly. I have sealed all my magical powers, and now I only have half of the golden light of the earth on my body. Chen Qing, boy, you can rest assured that I will make a blood contract with you. Chen Qing was stunned. Seeing Zhang Kui with 3-inch long coffin nails all over his body, he was still bleeding. You inserted these for me. Zhang Kui rolled his eyes. What else? Quick. It hurts so much. Oh, there was no time to be moved. It must be painful to watch this. Chen Qing quickly performed the blood contract technique. However, this blood contract technique is very troublesome. You have to build at least 30 spiritual veins first, and then thicken and strengthen them bit by bit. Oh, it's troublesome. Quote. Zhang Kui said impatiently, with his arms on Chen Qing's shoulders. The next moment, a powerful spiritual energy rushed into Chen Qing's head. With a buzzing sound, Chen Qing's eyes went dark and he almost couldn't stand still. Zhang Kui's spiritual energy was extremely powerful and flexible. It was like a shuttle in a factory loom that was so fast that it was hard to see clearly, shuttling back and forth at a high speed. In just a moment, the blood contract was formed. Unimaginable blood and energy poured into Chen Qing's body. In Chen Qing's perception, his whole body was swollen like a balloon at this moment. It would burst with a slight poke. Skin, blood, bones, soul power. Everything was improving at an incredible speed. Most importantly, Chen Qing felt a mysterious power. A golden light kept flashing from his body. Zhang Kui was very proud. What's it like? Quote. This is the golden light of the earth, used by Yang Jian. He can travel 9,000 miles with one thought. One thought, 1.5 miles, yes, one thought is 1.5 miles. The old man was very excited, but also very weak. If it were someone else, with more than 30 coffin nails all over his body, how could he survive? Zhang Kui, don't talk anymore, you need to recover first. The surging power was still pouring into his body, and Chen Qing could hardly move at this moment. I need to recover. Zhang Kui looked pale, but still very proud. Chen Qing had no choice but to change his words. Zhang Kui, you have great magical powers, known to all the 3 realms, and all the 9 heavens and 10 earths respect you as the best ghost catcher. Zhang Kui was overjoyed to hear these compliments. Although he tried his best to hide it, his shoulders twitched with laughter. But, I don't believe you have a way to quickly recover your body. How difficult is that? Zhang Kui laughed and pulled out a golden coffin nail on his left hip. As the nail was pulled out, the blood hole seemed to turn on a faucet, and blood gushed out. Zhang Kui didn't say anything, but Chen Qing grinned. This guy is really ruthless. It's all nailed to the bone. Zhang Kui pointed at the blood hole that was bleeding like a faucet and said proudly, do you know the Tiangong method of 9 breaths to subdue qi? I know your uncle. Can you quickly plug your blood hole? Watch. In just 2 breaths, the skin and flesh quickly grew together. Chen Qing opened his mouth wide and said sincerely, awesome. Zhang Kui was happy and pulled out the blood hole on his right shoulder again. With Chen Qing's limited knowledge of biology, he felt that there should be no large blood vessels on the right shoulder. But, Zhang Kui's right shoulder seemed to have turned on a faucet. Hua 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 hua. Blood kept pouring on the ground, and Zhang Kui was not in a hurry. In addition to 9 breaths to subdue qi, I can also preserve the yuan without leaking. Hua 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 hua. Don't show off. I beg you to plug the hole first, okay? Chen Qing closed his eyes in despair. I added a picture, and those who haven't seen it can see it when they update Tomato. Look, hey, why don't you look? Zhang Kui was not happy. Chen Qing had no choice but to open his eyes and look over. Hey, with Zhang Kui's shout, the blood hole stopped bleeding. Chen Qing breathed a sigh of relief. Zhang Kui shouted again, open. The blood hole opened again. Hua 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 hua. Quote. Zhang Kui said proudly, do whatever you want, down to the millimeter. In the next half an hour, Zhang Kui performed a show of Tiangong Disha's big and small magical powers on the spot. He stood in the pool of blood that was almost flooded over his ankles, and he was very happy. Chen Qing looked so painful. Finally pulling out the last nail, Zhang Kui's face was not much different from that of a zombie. He yawned. Ah, sleep, sleep, I'm so sleepy. After saying that, he disappeared in one step and disappeared. The power poured into Chen Qing's body finally stopped. Chen Qing slowly got up, and his spiritual energy was overflowing. Like a big water ball with hundreds of holes. He had no choice but to sit down again and try to restrain the spiritual energy in his body. After more than an hour, he finally restrained all the spiritual energy. From the outside, Chen Qing was just flushed, but in his perception, his whole body was now swollen like a ball and could explode at any time. Carefully, he properly collected the 36 coffin nails on the ground along with the blood. Are you kidding? This is Zhang Kui's blood. Master, master, come and take a look. Suddenly, the voice of the painted skin came. Chen Qing immediately returned to the real world and saw Chen Qing standing by the window, looking in the mirror. When Chen Qing was away, the painted skin turned into Chen Qing's appearance, guarding the surveillance and taking care of Chen Man and Uncle Sha. At this moment, the painted skin was holding a mirror, with his back to the window and looking carefully. In the community, there were constant rumbling sounds, and from time to time there was a huge sound of breaking. Chen Qing was a little confused. He came to the window and saw a big hole on the first and second floors of Building 5 opposite, like a missile explosion. Boom, bang, without any warning, the first floor diagonally opposite Chen Qing exploded. Soil and gravel flew everywhere, and a white shadow. No, to be precise, it was a corpse in white clothes. The corpse passed through the wall and plowed a half-meter deep ditch on the ground. Chen Qing felt something was wrong. He felt that the corpse should be pushed by something. Painted skin reminded. Master, look in the mirror. Chen Qing looked at the mirror and was stunned. The corpse was indeed pushed by a strange. Something was crushing. This was a wooden wheel as tall as 2 people, and there were 2 faces on both sides of the wheel. They were green-faced and fanged, and looked very ferocious. What surprised Chen Qing was that there were purple flames around the wheel, jumping and flashing, suddenly disappearing, and suddenly appearing again. What is this big wheel? Is the ghost fire next to it? This is the evil ghost level, ghost car, and the evil ghost level, karmic fire, next to it is the ghost fire. Karma fire. Chen Qing was immediately excited. Chen Quan said that the evil spirit level of the white bone spirit has a karma fire skeleton that is the most difficult to deal with. Even Chen Quan found it difficult, so it must be very powerful. I've only heard of the karma fire, but I don't know how it works, but this ghost car is very powerful, indestructible, and can also be invisible. The great god Zhang Kui has just been seriously injured, and I'm afraid he can't participate in the battle. I'm afraid that all the members will be dispatched this time. Then dispatch. Even if it's not the ghost fire, Chen Qing can't sit idly by. This guy is like a tank. What if he knocks down the first and second floors of his house? In order to build a safe house, the whole building has been strengthened, but it is estimated that it can't stop this thing. Wearing the painted skin, he used the golden light that he just got. The golden light flashed, and Chen Qing had already reached the bottom of the building. At this moment, he saw clearly that the corpse on the ground was a young man in a white robe. His clothes were already tattered and his body was injured in many places. But he might also have magical powers like Vajra indestructible. He was repeatedly crushed by the ghost car and was pushed against the building, but he was fine, at least on the surface. The painted skin was surprised and said, "Master, this young man has a lot of luck." Luck? Chen Qing didn't care, his goal was the fire of karma. With a thought, the hairy zombie, the martial arts champion, the hanged ghost, the coroner, the chaotic court, and the flower-waist bride appeared in front of him. But there was a problem. The ghost car and the devil fire are invisible, and can only be seen with a mirror, which is too disadvantageous in a fight. "Master, please smear the blood of the great god Zhang Kui on your eyelids." Chen Qing did it immediately. After smearing Zhang Kui's blood on his eyelids, he immediately saw the ghost car and the devil fire. The ghost car was huge, as tall as 2 people. For some unknown grudge, it was desperately crushing the young master. Sometimes it was grinding, and it crashed down heavily inside. Bang, bang, bang. The movement was like a huge rock falling, extremely terrifying. "You also put some." Chen Qing swallowed the second half of the sentence. Zhang Kui's blood is probably no different from magma to ghosts. The ghost car finally noticed everyone. It looks like a wheel, with 2 faces on both sides. It is impossible to say which side is the front, but at this moment a face slowly turned around and stared at Chen Qing fiercely. The ghost car rushed over fiercely. If it were any other ghost pet, they would know how to read the car print, but the hairy zombie just stood there stupidly. Bang! The ghost car hit the hairy zombie hard. The hairy zombie was knocked up and flew into the wall of a building next to it like a cannonball, and the broken stones and bricks were scattered everywhere. The ghost car did not stop, and turned around at the moment it knocked the hairy zombie away, and rushed straight to the crowd. Except for Chen Qing, the ghost pets could not see it, and could only judge where it was based on its wheel mark. But the tricky thing is that the ghost car is not always on the ground, it will also jump up to attack. The wheel mark suddenly disappeared. The next moment, Wu Zhuangyuan seemed to have sensed something and held the long spear horizontally in front of him. Ding! The long spear suddenly sank, and the ghost car had hit it. The wheels spun rapidly. Ding 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 ding. Sparks flew from the long spear, and Wu Zhuangyuan suddenly stepped aside. The ghost car rolled out suddenly, brushing past Wu Zhuangyuan, who stabbed back with a spear. Puff! The long spear had already been inserted into the ghost face in the center of the wheel. The ghost car screamed miserably. All the ghost pets were overjoyed. Originally, the ghost car was invisible, but now looking at the long spear floating in the air, the ghost car was much easier to deal with. The coroner's thin blade kept slicing in the air, and dozens of wounds appeared on Gusha's face, and ghost blood splashed everywhere. Buzz, buzz. Just as everyone was about to pursue the victory, purple-black flames appeared around them. The fire was silent and without a trace of temperature. Wu Zhuangyuan and Luan Ting were the fastest and retreated immediately. But the coroner and the hanged ghost were a little slower, and their bodies were already stained with the fire. Silently, the burned places disappeared strangely. A bright blood light like a lamp burst out from Chen Qing's kunwu sword, and the blood light overflowed like a flame. He slashed with a knife. The knife light split the fire into 2 petals. The fire turned into 2 flames, flashed, and disappeared on the spot. Chen Qing saw purple light flashing in front of his eyes, and he retreated subconsciously and used the golden light of the earth. The moment he disappeared, a fire of calamity ignited where his head was. Chen Qing was sweating. Painted skin, can you defend against the fire of calamity? I have never fought against the fire of calamity. Master, we will fight, don't take risks. Hua 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 wadongdang. The bride with flower waist shook her bracelet, and with the crisp metal sound, small bumps appeared on the face of the ghost car one after another. Soon it was densely packed. The bride with flower waist shook and walked, and many small flowers grew under her white and tender feet, allowing her to step on them. Luan Ting, protect Hua Yao. The white weasel immediately followed the bride with flower waist. A purple light flashed in front of the 2. Luan Ting clapped his hands fiercely. The next moment, the space moved, and the 2 disappeared on the spot. The fire of calamity was empty. On the other side, the ghost car had struggled to get up. At this time, a black shadow suddenly jumped out from the pile of broken bricks, screaming and throwing himself at the ghost car. It was the hairy zombie. How powerful was the hairy zombie? After just a few punches, the ghost car was beaten to a crooked nose and slanted eyes. This scene looked a bit weird. A long spear was suspended in the air, and there was a hairy zombie standing in the void, beating the void. At this time, the ghost car's face was almost covered with small lumps. The flower-waisted bride finally beat her drum. Bang! Puff 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 puff. The countless small lumps on the ghost car's face broke at the same time, like a big blood bag exploded, and the ghost blood splattered all over the ground. The ghost car's wheels started to spin wildly. It suddenly stood up and rushed to the north. The hairy zombie was shaken off, but its toes still tightly grasped the long spear inserted in the ghost car. Boom! The ghost car crashed into the wall, and the speed was almost unaffected. Boom! The second wall collapsed with a bang, and a family of 3 was hiding in a corner, shivering. It was also bad luck. The ghost car rushed into the wall, crushed the man, and rushed into the next wall. Bang! Blood splattered everywhere. The man's blood, internal organs, and brains splattered all over the woman and the child. The woman froze, her hand still tightly holding her husband's severed hand. The next moment, a shrill scream came out. Ah! The hairy zombie has thick skin and flesh, even if it happens to crash into the buried. The steel bars in the wall were also knocked crooked or broken. The 2 ran all the way, and Mao Zedong took a break and punched the void fiercely. Bang! This punch hit the eyeball of Goosh. Goosh screamed and jumped up, broke through the ceiling of the first floor, and rushed into the second floor. There were 2 corpses on the second floor, and they should have been dead for some time. Mao Zedong was swung around on the long spear, and he grabbed one of the corpses and swung it hard on Goosh's face. Bang! The stiff corpse broke and exploded on Goosh's face, and Goosh screamed again, and rushed out of the second floor at a high speed. Time seemed to be slowed down. The 2 ghosts were still in the air, and the long spear that had been loosened for a long time loosened, and the hairy zombie was thrown out. The next moment, Goosh landed and escaped for his life in great joy. With a flash of golden light, Chen Qing appeared in the air and caught the long spear. The golden light flashed again, and Chen Qing had already come to 2 meters in front of the ghost car. The ghost car was too fast, and it was next to Chen Qing in an instant, passing by Chen Qing. The long spear that had been prepared long ago pierced the big nose of the ghost car heavily. Puff! The ghost blood splattered, and the ghost car screamed and tilted, breaking 2 trees, drifting to the ground with thick smoke and sparks. The wheels of the ghost car should be immortal. Although its face can be injured, it is not a vital point. I am afraid that it can run away even if it is cut in half. At this moment, its face is already bloody. But it still struggled to get up and wanted to escape. White Bone Demon. The next moment, the White Bone Demon appeared. The left and right hands stretched out, and the joints suddenly swelled. In a moment, it became a 10-meter-long bone whip, grabbing the 2 ends of the long spear. The ghost car shook and stood up again, and fled north again. At this time, the long spear penetrated its 2 ends, and the 2 ends were connected to the bone chain, carrying the white bone spirit. The white bone spirit supported the ground with its legs, plowing out 2 deep grooves, looking like surfing on land. The hairy zombie seized the opportunity, pounced on it, and hugged the white bone spirit. Bang! The ghost car crashed into the north wall of the community, carrying the white bone spirit and the hairy zombie, and blasted into the Ziming River. The huge waves splashed dozens of meters high, and the 3 disappeared in the waves. The wheels of the ghost car spun wildly in the river, unable to exert force, and turned in vain. But in just a moment, it had found the pattern, slightly tilted to face the river, like a propeller, and flowed at high speed in the water. The white bone spirit and the hairy zombie were not good at water battles, but just held on tightly. A golden light flashed on the river surface, and Chen Qing appeared above the river. With a thought, he flicked his hand, and the water monkey fell from midair into the water. It looked like a poor special effect, and not a single splash of water was made. Chen Qing's body began to fall, but he only dropped 1 meter. With a golden light flash, he was back on the shore. The water was the world of the water monkey. The water monkey swept its long tail, and its body rushed out like an arrow, and in an instant it had caught up with the ghost car. The long tail rolled up and had already entangled the ghost car. It pressed it to the bottom of the river. The white bone demon and the hairy zombie grabbed the bone chain like tug of war, and also came to the side of the ghost car. The hairy zombie raised his fist and hit, and each punch drew a stream of water. The remaining 8 fingers of the white bone demon also became longer, inserted into the ghost car and shuttled back and forth, tying it tightly. After a while, the water monkey brought the 3 back to the shore. Mao Zedong held up the ghost car, which was tied up and unable to move, with dozens of holes pierced by bone chains in one hand. He also raised his hand to slap hard with the other hand. Snap, snap, snap. The battle was a battle, but the enemy was still alive. Looking at the tightly tied ghost car, Chen Qing was excited. In the battle against the ghost car, he was definitely the first. With the golden light, his combat power seemed to have increased dozens of times. After returning to the community, the coroner said ashamedly, "We deserve to die. We failed to leave the fire behind." Chen Qing sighed, not too surprised. It's not a matter of the number of people. The fire is strange, and his team really doesn't have the means to leave it behind. Of course, except for Zhang Kui. Fire is rare. If we fail to leave it behind this time, the chance of encountering it next time is too slim. Just as he was thinking, Chen Qing seemed to have sensed something, and with a wave of his hand, he accepted Hua Yao, the coroner, Luan Ting, and Wu Zhuangyuan. On the roof of Building 4, there were 5 people wearing dark red cloaks, looking coldly at Mao Zedong. Or rather, looking at the ghost car. "Where is the body?" one of them asked coldly. Chen Qing frowned and secretly guarded. These 5 people are very strong. They may be in Yuquan realm. Hey, where is he? Chen Qing's heart skipped a beat. He knew that the corpse in white was not simple. He understood in his heart, but his face was very calm, and he patted the transparent ghost car held by Mao Zedong. A sneer appeared on his face. "I spent a lot of effort to catch this thing, you'd better not mess with me." "Who the hell wants this thing?" "Corpse. A corpse in white." "What corpse?" Chen Qing frowned. "I didn't see the corpse, but I saw a lot of ghost fire." One of the 5 whispered, "This kid is not simple, he may be in the Nether Spring realm. And he can catch the ghost car alive, his strength is not bad. The hairy zombie and the water monkey are average, but the white bone spirit is hard to meet. Don't worry about it, if it doesn't work, kill it first." The leader frowned and looked at Chen Qing. "Friend, we don't want to cause trouble, we just want to ask where the corpse stolen by the ghost car is." Chen Qing sneered. "First, I haven't seen any corpse. Second, I don't want to pay attention to you with your attitude. If you want to fight, I'm here anytime." Looking for death. The strong man was furious, and his blood surged, and he was about to draw his sword. "Yuan-kun, don't be impulsive." The leader held Yuan-kun down. "Don't make trouble. It's not worth it to kill him even if it only takes 1 minute." As he said that, he threw down a ghost bead. "Brother, this ghost bead is a toll. Tell me where you saw the ghost car." "That's right." Chen Qing grinned. He is not a brainless person, but he knows that if he is weaker in momentum, his opponent will be stronger. At this moment, he stopped while he was ahead and said, "The ghost car came from the river and killed many people in our community. I killed it. There was a ghost fire around it at that time, but I didn't catch it." "Okay, thank you." The 5 people immediately jumped from the roof and quickly went to the river. "Boss, do you believe what he said? Go to the river first. If there is no breath of that thing, come back and kill it." After several people left, Chen Qing's eyes flashed. "Painted skin, what do you mean by luck on this corpse? Some people are born to win prizes and pick up money easily, this is small luck. Big luck, not to mention him, even the younger brothers beside him, they can do anything, those who fight in wars are made marquises and prime ministers, and those who do business are rich. Although it is not appropriate, in a word, as long as you are around him, you can rise to heaven." Chen Qing pondered. These things are mysterious, but Chen Qing believes them now. Nodding. "Okay, then this corpse is mine." At that moment, a golden light flashed, and he appeared on the street. The street was full of ghosts, and they rushed over when they saw Chen Qing. Chen Qing's figure continued to flash. He made a big turn and came to the lower reaches of the Ziming River. Let the painted skin attach to himself and turned into a petite woman. With one thought, he took out the corpse in the first floor of the demon suppression tower. Run downstream along the river bank. After walking for half an hour. Finally, the target was reached. Several people appeared on the shore and cheered, "Found it." "Here." As they said, they followed Chen Qing from a distance. Soon, the second group of people appeared, and the third group of people appeared. What made Chen Qing's thoughts turn rapidly was the third group of people. They had the largest number of people, and they were the ghost guards. The situation gradually went beyond Chen Qing's control. "Painted skin, can you see anything else? This thing may not be as simple as we thought." "I'm sorry, master, this servant. All we can see is that this corpse has great luck, but we really don't know the rest. With so many people fighting for it, it must be a good thing, there's no reason to spit it out." Chen Qing quickly came up with an idea. When passing by a bridge hole, Chen Qing ran away suddenly and threw the corpse into the water. The crowd on the shore couldn't see clearly, and someone immediately said anxiously, "Stop her," but the corpse was still there. The corpse slowly drifted downstream along the river. The only thing missing was the petite woman. But who would care about that woman? What they didn't know was that the corpse had been put into the demon suppression tower by Chen Qing. The one floating in the water now was Chen Qing wearing the painted skin. The painted skin was puzzled. "Master, what does this mean? The last place where the corpse appeared was in our community. If it disappeared, someone would find our community anyway. And then find us. We can only randomly blame a poor guy." Quote, Painted Skin seemed to understand. The two were floating slowly in the river, and a dispute had already started on the shore. The embarrassing thing was that the two acted too realistically, and they were facing down without knowing when. I couldn't see what happened on the shore, so I could only guess. The fight on the shore was very fierce, and it seemed that there were ghosts joining in. "Quick, stop fighting. Stop that ghost first." Chen Qing always felt that something would bite him in the next moment, but fortunately, Painted Skin had a strong defense and few could hurt him. The two continued to drift. The body was hit by a bridge pier and finally turned over. The sound of fighting was getting closer and closer, and finally, someone touched the two. Chen Qing was about to leave, and suddenly saw another person behind him, who was the strong man named Yuan Kun in the community just now. The first person touched Chen Qing and was about to carry him away, but was knocked to the ground by Yuan Kun. "Boss, I got it." Quote, Yuan Kun showed ecstasy. The next moment, golden light flashed, and the body on his shoulder suddenly disappeared. Yuan Kun was stunned, opened his hands, and his eyes were full of confusion. "Hey, where is my body? Hey, where is my body? What are you pretending for? Yuan Kun, if you don't hand over the body today, you can't go anywhere." Yuan Kun opened his mouth wide. No, I didn't take it." He was extremely wronged. "I didn't take it. It disappeared by itself." "Boss, the body disappeared by itself." Yuan Kun's boss was overjoyed and whispered, "Yes. We didn't take it. No matter who comes, you insist on saying so. Give a wink, Xiaonan, you cover Yuan Kun and leave quickly. The three of us stay behind." Yuan Kun was anxious. "Boss. No, I really didn't take it." Quote, "What time is it? Stop acting," Xiaonan said anxiously. "Go away." Yuan Kun collapsed. "Xiaonan, believe me. I didn't take it." The crowd has surrounded them, and everyone is shouting, "Don't let them run away." Chapter 91. Chen Qing didn't know that he had made the people of Taiping Dao suffer. He appeared in a strange community at this moment, his thoughts floating. Ordinary people have already lived through the end of the world, but the order has not collapsed. It seems contradictory, but it is the truth. An extreme example. As long as the army still exists during the war, even if it falls into a situation of cannibalism, there is still a possibility of a comeback. For example, the cannibalistic general Zhang Xuan. Without the army, no matter how many ordinary people there are, they are just fish on the chopping board. Every city that was massacred in history is a proof. Just like Yangzhou. Just like the 154 cities massacred by the devils. The anti-ghost army is still there, and it seems to be fully organized, which is a blessing for mankind. At the same time, many forces emerged at the end of the world. Chen Qing cares about these things, but he won't do anything about them. As long as the people he cares about are okay, it's fine. With one thought, he released Mao Zhang and Baiji Yu Jing. Mao Yang's hands were still raised, but empty. Chen Qing was startled. and then he realized that he had been soaking in the water for too long, and Zhang Kui's blood had washed away his eyelids. He couldn't see the ghost car again. He applied another drop, and then he saw the already weak ghost car again. He couldn't catch the fire he wanted. Fortunately, the ghost car is quite powerful, and it is invisible, which will definitely be useful in the future. At that moment, he tied the ghost car to the ground and let Mao Zhang beat him. Bang, bang, bang. Mao Yang's fists are so hard, like a pile driver. Every time he punched, the whole land shook slightly. The ghost car was hammered into the ground by punches, and sank deeply. Soon, it was beaten to death by Mao Yang's random punches, and turned into a black mist and was collected in the demon suppression tower. Crushed the last soldier ghost to make room, summoned it, and tested the ghost meter. 822. A-level evil ghost. Chen Qing nodded, worthy of all the trouble today. Mao Zhang was overjoyed. It seemed that the anger he had been holding back today was finally released. Instead of taking back the white bone spirit and Mao Zhang, he summoned several other ghost pets. Released the golden centipede with a thought. With the golden light that stretched the ground, it was convenient to enter and exit, and things that might be coveted by others in the future would not be done in the Zhongpan community. The golden centipede was immersed in the ghost energy, and as time passed, it slowly changed. It had 13 pairs of human legs, 13 pairs of human hands, and a head composed of 13 human heads. At this moment, one of the fingers moved slightly. About a minute later, the second finger also moved. But trouble also came with it. The golden body was so attractive to ghosts that before it was fully awakened, there was only a remnant of the body, and a ghost had already rushed out regardless of everything. Chen Qing decided to do it once and for all, and release the abandoned baby tower. Soon, all the ghosts in this community went crazy. Let the chaotic court surround the ghost pets and the golden centipede, and Chen Qing looked at the many ghosts with interest. Just like last time, they all wanted to get into the abandoned baby tower like crazy. Chen Qing thought of something. Painted skin. Do ghosts have souls? Most have souls, but not spirits. It's done. Chen Qing summoned the hanged ghost. Hanged ghost, you can advance. The spiritual guide of the hanged ghost is, use white silk to restrain the soul, or absorb the essence and blood, and when the white silk is stained with blood, or filled with souls, you can advance. The hanged ghost's long hair covered his face, and his expression could not be seen clearly. I think he should be very happy. The white bone demon randomly picked up a wronged ghost from the ghost pile, and the hanged ghost's white silk wrapped around it. The white silk was as flexible as a snake, and soon wrapped around the wronged ghost's body, wrapping it like a mummy. The wronged ghost struggled a few times and stopped moving. The white silk wrapped tighter and tighter. The wronged ghost in the white silk did not explode, but as the white silk tightened, its size became smaller and smaller. After 10 minutes, it was wrapped into the size of a fist and then disappeared. Chen Qing stared blankly, digested. The white bone demon's bone chain stabbed out again, dragging back a big-headed ghost, and the hanged ghost's white silk wrapped around it again. The golden centipede was slowly awakening, the abandoned baby tower was waiting for its chance, and the hanged ghost was busy advancing. Chen Qing came to the top of the building with a golden light, alert. The attraction of the golden body was too great, and it was hard to say what it would attract. Like the Zhongpan community, the ghosts around the abandoned baby tower were piled up again at this moment. The chaos separated them. Immediately, another bunch of people rushed over frantically. At this moment, a faint, clang, sound came softly. Chen Qing's eyes focused slightly. Soon he found the source of the sound. Across the street, a corpse driver was shaking a bell. Behind it followed a group of people, who were moving stiffly. There were so many people that they filled the street with a black mass, about 1,000 of them. This thing should not have been attracted by the golden body. So what was it doing? Are the people behind him alive or dead? Chen Qing looked far away and saw several figures outside the crowd. Unlike the group of people who were being driven, they looked around and were very flexible. Master, it's Rakshasa, Painted Skin said immediately. Chen Qing immediately recalled, yes, it's Rakshasa. Rakshasa is a noble among the ghosts. Chen Qing remembered clearly that the candle snake said, "Welcome to Rakshasa Sea City," on the first day of its advent. Rakshasa is most likely the leader of the ghosts in Ziming City. Can't stay any longer, have to go. Chen Qing put away the abandoned baby tower, the golden centipede and many ghost pets. A golden light flashed, and he had left this place. After several golden lights, Chen Qing appeared in the Ziming City Stadium. Putting down the golden centipede, he came to the top of the stadium. 90% of the high-rise buildings with bright lights were dark. The city was dead silent, and occasionally a shrill scream could be heard. Strange shapes flew through the air from time to time. The golden centipede continued to awaken, and its attraction became stronger and stronger. All the ghosts in the stadium had already pounced on it. Ding-la! The sound of the corpse-driving official's bell rang again from afar. Chen Qing looked east and saw that this corpse-driving official was also driving thousands of people. Slightly different from the previous one, this time the corpse-driving official was followed by students. Chen Qing's eyes gradually narrowed. Both corpse-driving officials were heading towards the city center, and something must have happened. This kind of scene is likely to be all over Ziming City now. Looking over again, there were also figures guarding the students who were driving. Chen Qing subconsciously thought it was a rakshasa, but after a moment, his brows gradually frowned. The guards were actually humans. Moreover, they were the ghost slayers, maybe not, but they were wearing the uniforms of the ghost slayers. Chen Qing's mind was in a mess. The anti-ghost army, with the largest number, was also the main force. The ghost slayers were considered special forces, with a small number of people, but all of them were top combat power. His brows gradually frowned, and he guessed two possibilities. First, the ghost slayers betrayed humans. But Chen Qing thought this guess was too absurd. Second, the corpse-driving officer was someone's ghost pet. Maybe he was sending people to a certain place in this way. After all, it was the end of the world, and people's hearts were too chaotic. The possibility of forcibly transporting people in the second way was much greater. Thinking of this, he felt that he couldn't stay here anymore. He put away the golden centipede, and the golden light flashed several times, and he came to a shopping mall. The shopping mall was full of blood, and bloody handprints were all over the wall. At the exit of the mall's parking lot, more than 10 cars were blocking the way, and each car was in pieces, with many corpses inside. It was obvious that a car had blocked the way and blocked everyone's way. He didn't care and released the golden centipede and waited quietly. This time, only some small kurami were attracted, and no accidents occurred. The golden centipede finally awakened. Buzz! A wave of air shook out. The golden centipede shook its head and moved. Chen Qing had an idea, and the golden centipede rushed around in the mall. Not to mention the seats, which flew away when touched, and even the pillars were as fragile as cakes in front of it. Bang! 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 The golden centipede was like a train, rushing around, and the walls and glass were like paper, and the speed was extremely fast. This thing is a bit like the ghost car. Chen Qing sighed in his heart, but found that the ghosts outside the mall had gone crazy and rushed here desperately. Satisfiedly put away the golden centipede. Call it a day, go home. The Zhongpan community was busy. Crying was heard everywhere. The ghost car was so destructive that 15 people had been killed by it. Chen Qing is back, suddenly someone exclaimed. Chen Qing nodded and walked straight to Building 8. Chen Qing, stop, a familiar voice sounded. Chen Qing was startled and looked back. It was Gao Fei. You destroyed the community like this, don't you think you should pay compensation? Another man also echoed. Chen Qing, don't think we don't understand. It was you and that invisible ghost who destroyed the community like this. Now many buildings have become dangerous and can no longer be lived in. Chen Qing was stunned. Although he didn't care, he thought he would be greeted with applause. Feng Yu's husband is dead. Zhou Ping's mother is the only one left. Shi Dong's wife is cut in two. Gao Fei read them out one by one, getting more and more excited. Justice is in the hearts of people. You caused it, so you have to take the responsibility. Chen Qing sneered. If I hadn't driven that thing away with all my might, do you think you could still stand here and talk to me? You are talking nonsense. Li Yong saw it clearly. You have contributed to the destruction of the community. Li Yong nodded immediately. Chen Qing, I saw it. Your long-haired ghost fought with that thing and knocked Building 4 into what it is now. It could fall down at any time. You are wrong to say that. Wrong. An old man waved his hand and said, many people saw what happened today. That thing came first, and Chen Qing came down to fight it. If it weren't for Chen Qing, our entire community might not be gone. The old man's name is Yao Si. In Chen Qing's heart, this is a real, pure, and kind person like Han Yuan. His kindness could not even be erased by this horrible end of the world. To put it more elegantly, he was always shrouded in the glory of humanity until the moment he died. Of course, such a person would not live long. I vaguely remember that he died at the beginning of the second blood moon. But, Yao Si said again, Chen Qing, I know it's not your fault, but even if they are sentenced to full responsibility, you should always pay some humanitarian compensation. Now you are the richest in the community, and they are helpless, just treat it as a reward for them. Chen Qing looked at Yao Si silently. He admired such people, but also disliked such people. No, compensation is compensation, not a reward. Gao Fei shouted. Where will these orphans and widows live in the future? What will they eat? Li Yong also said, Chen Qing, we are all civilized people, and we are reasonable. No matter what, you must be wrong this time, right? Chen Qing smiled. They wanted to rob openly before. Seeing that his fist was hard, he changed to reason. Okay, let's talk about reason. Chen Qing smiled. Okay, I'll pay for it. The market value of the houses in our community is about 800,000. Today, we destroyed 20 houses, and it's all my fault. With a thought, a hairy zombie appeared, holding an astonishing amount of cash in his hand. Everyone was shocked and took a few steps back involuntarily. With a bang, it was thrown directly to the ground. Several bundles of cash exploded and scattered all over the ground. 30 million, the extra is your reward. Chen Qing sneered. Of course, you have to remember it well. That thing is not dead yet. Next time, I can't help you again. Not dead. Everyone was panicked. What should we do if it happens again? A woman stopped Chen Qing. Chen Qing. Chen Qing. That's not what I meant. No, that's what I meant. I have no money left, and I dare not show off anymore. Gao Fei looked at the pile of money, his eyelids twitching. No, what's the use of money at this time? You have to pay for the supplies. Pay for the food. Li Yong shouted. No money. He was answered by a loud noise. Boom, something rushed over from the river. Chen Qing smiled and said, that thing is coming again. Everyone panicked and wanted to escape, but they always felt that staying next to Chen Qing was a little safer. Mao Zhong, raise your hands. Chen Qing shouted. Don't interfere this time. Mao Zhong immediately surrendered, raising his hands high above his head. Chen Qing also waved his hands, indicating that he would not interfere again. Chen Qing, stop it, those idiots are ignorant. Only you can stop it. Chen Qing, please, for the sake of being neighbors. Make a move. Quote, the most terrifying thing is always the unknown. The horror brought by this unknown thing is stronger than the bloody ghost. Everyone didn't even know where to look. Cold sweats broke out, and they looked nervously wherever there was a little movement. Boom, a load-bearing wall of Building 4 was smashed. Someone inside screamed. I don't know if he was scared or hurt. Li Yang's face was pale and sweaty. Chen Qing, ability and responsibility are matched, you have an obligation. You also have a responsibility. Puff. Before he finished his sentence, he was pressed to the ground by an invisible thing and burst. Blood and internal organs splashed everywhere. People nearby were all splashed. Quote, screams rang out. The people, who had been in a state of high tension, fled in all directions. Gao Fei was among them. She fled in panic, but was pushed to the ground by something without making a sound. The thing did not crush her, but just passed by her, but it carried an indescribable force. Bang! Her head hit the ground heavily. She panicked. Help! Help! Quote, Chen Qing sneered. With a thought, the ghost car ran directly through the middle of her thighs. Crack! The two legs were crushed and rolled away. Gao Fei screamed. The ghost car turned around again and crushed her in half from the hips to the head. Then it rushed to Building 4. There were constant bangs, and the load-bearing walls were knocked down one after another. Finally, heavy cracking sounds were heard. The shattered walls could no longer bear the weight of the floors and collapsed. Boom! The second to sixth floors fell down in their entirety. Then, the second floor, which had become the first floor, had cracks in the wall that expanded rapidly with a popping sound. Boom. The bottom layer was crushed again. Boom. Smoke and dust rose. The sixth floor became the fourth floor, standing diagonally on the ruins of the 2 floors below. With a thought, the ghost car made a huge noise, rushing all the way north. In an instant, there was a splash sound of rushing into the river. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Some people just came to their senses and rushed into the pile of money. Money is not completely waste paper now. At least if you use 10,000 to buy a pack of instant noodles, someone will definitely be willing to do it. But under decades of inertial thinking, many people still think that this red paper symbolizes wealth. Don't grab it. This is not for you. What are you doing? Everyone was in chaos, and they were scrambling. Yao Si was already very old, but he was also robbing. He put a large bag of money in his clothes and ran to Feng Yu's side. Here. Here you go. Quote. Chen Qing was stunned. He remembered that Feng Yu's husband was crushed to death by the ghost car today. Yao Si rushed into the crowd again. He didn't know where he got the strength from. He grabbed another large bundle of money from the crowd. He quickly ran to the second floor and threw it to a child who was staring at his parents' bodies. Keep it. Then, he rushed to the crowd again, panting. Chen Qing watched silently. Somehow, he thought of himself in his previous life. Shaked his head. A fool. As soon as he got home, Chen Man asked, Chen Qing, who was that person yesterday? Chen Qing was startled. Which one? The one who stayed at home. Chen Qing suddenly reacted. Chen Man was referring to the painted skin that had transformed into himself. This guy could actually recognize it. How did you recognize it? No need to recognize it, I know it's not you. Chen Man shook his head and started to temper his bones again. There's something. Chen Qing was amazed, and the painted skin also felt strange. Master, how did the young master recognize the slave? My hen. Chen Qing shook his head. Could it be that those who were born with a missing soul have a higher intuition about this kind of thing? As he was thinking, Uncle Sha pondered. Chen Qing, there is something you may need to look at. What is it, Uncle Sha? It's the broken Buddha that I worship every day. Uncle Sha said. I didn't think it was a good thing, but after hearing you say that some things can be awakened, I always feel that this thing may also be awakened. Okay, a golden light. Chen Qing has arrived at the north corner of the community. Uncle Sha's shed is set up here. However, after searching everywhere, he found nothing. Chen Qing has an impression of this broken Buddha. It is quite big and obvious. But it is not there. After searching again and again, he was sure that it was no longer here, so he returned home. Without telling Uncle Sha, he went to the surveillance camera, turned to this side, and started to play it back. 99% of the time, the picture is almost still, and occasionally a ghost sniffs around and passes by. Finally, Chen Qing saw a person. He enlarged the picture and his eyes condensed slightly. Yueyang Peak. He was the one who took action in the previous life. Among the people who attacked him, Chen Qing was most surprised by this person. He usually did not show his true colors and always hid behind others. No matter what time it was, he would almost subconsciously ignore the existence of such a person. Moreover, Chen Qing felt that this person should have some defensive treasure on him like himself. Continue to play the video. Yu Yangfeng came to Uncle Sha's shed in a panic and took away the broken Buddha. Chen Qing's surveillance covered the entire community, and he kept switching cameras and quickly found his residence. But when he saw where he lived, Chen Qing frowned even more tightly. He lived on the second floor of Unit 2, Building 4. But now the first and second floors of Building 4 are gone. The clues were interrupted from then on, so he had to give up. Chen Qing, Chen Qing, Chen Qing. What surprised Chen Qing was that a girl appeared in the corridor and was trying to call Chen Qing. He did not step into the 6th floor, and there was still one last step away from the 6th floor. She should remember Chen Qing's warning. As long as you step into this floor, don't blame me for being ruthless. Chen Qing had some impression of her, and it seemed that his surname was He. Monkey once joked with him, saying that she was the most beautiful girl in the community. Turn on the microphone. What's the matter? Chen Qing, can you come out for a moment? Same, just say it directly. I think some things are better said in person. The fact that she did not step into the 6th floor was in stark contrast to her previous bad neighbor. Chen Qing was quite fond of her and came to the door. The girl was very beautiful, and her big eyes seemed to contain stars. Chen Qing, first of all, I want to apologize to you on behalf of some people in the community. I'm sorry. The girl said, bowing solemnly to apologize. Chen Qing did not respond, waiting for her to continue. The girl was a little embarrassed and took out a piece of paper, which was densely covered with red handprints. Chen Qing, please be the defense officer of our community. This is everyone's petition. She bowed and handed over the petition. A bit unexpected, but within reason. After all, the ghost car is too threatening. Why? The girl saw that Chen Qing did not put away the petition. I know some people in the community have hurt your feelings, but... As he was talking, the monkey appeared with a whistle. Seeing the girl, he was slightly stunned. Seeing the petition, he understood what was going on and stood aside to watch the excitement with interest. Chen Qing sneered, defense officer. It sounds good, but isn't it just your free security guard? The girl stroked her hair and looked directly into Chen Qing's eyes. Just think of us hiring you as a defense officer, but we can only offer too little now. But we make the following promises. First, the entire community will unconditionally obey your arrangements. Second, you have the right to mobilize any materials in the entire community, including materials owned by anyone. Chen Qing shook his head, not interested. The girl wanted to say something, but the monkey asked with a smile, unconditional obedience. For example, if I ask you to sleep with me, will you do it? The girl was slightly startled, as if she had made up her mind. Okay. Chen Qing was a little surprised. In 10 days or so, a piece of bread can make people do anything. But now most families still have food in stock. He ignored her and opened the door to welcome the monkey in. As soon as he entered, the monkey immediately looked strange. Hey, district flower. Warm the bed. Ignoring this, Chen Qing looked at him. Jingpo. 6. I worked day and night, and finally reached Jingpo yesterday. He did not come to Chen Qing as soon as he arrived at Jingpo, but absorbed several spirit stones in succession. The monkey's ghost contract technique is an ordinary ghost contract technique, which means that his soul power is at least 30% higher than that of the ghost pet, so he held it back until now. My soul power has reached 141 now. Monkey summoned his warrior and rubbed his hands. Martial champion, martial champion, martial champion, quick, quick, quick. Chen Qing took out the imperial edict. Wu Fu, accept the edict. Wu Fu was overjoyed. He knelt down trembling with excitement. I only rule the world with culture and suppress rebellions with force. The military commanders and generals are the pillars of the court and the pillars of the country. He is able to be both civil and military, and his efforts should be rewarded. How can his achievements be ignored and he should be favored? Wu Fu is named the martial champion. I decree this. The next moment, the surface of the imperial edict emanated a hazy light, and Wu Fu changed all over when he took it. Like Chen Qing's martial champion, he also condensed a set of fine steel armor on his body. It's just that Chen Qing's martial champion weapon is a long spear, while this one is a big black stick. The monkey was overjoyed. Adoptive father. How strong is Wu Zhuangyuan? There is no one in the community that he cannot deal with. The monkey was even happier. At this moment, he really looked like a monkey. Can you beat Tenji Luo's? Be a little more promising. He is nothing. Chen Qing thought about it. When he reached the spirit realm, the monkey could contract one more ghost pet. His own hanged ghost was still short of the last few souls to advance, so he could take the monkey out for a trip to try his luck. But it must not be tonight. Because of the mysterious corpse, many people probably fought together, and tonight was destined to be a mess. You should get familiar with Wu Zhuangyuan first. With him around, the evil ghost level can rarely hurt you. Okay, adoptive father. The monkey immediately said goodbye to Chen Qing and went outside to find the unlucky ghost to practice. Chen Qing came to the 3rd floor with a thought. He wanted to study the corpse. But as soon as he came to the 3rd floor, Chen Qing was stunned. The corpse actually sat up and was looking around blankly. The dead body was buried, and the dead body was buried. Chen Qing couldn't sit still. Living creatures cannot be brought into the 2nd and 3rd floors of the demon suppression tower. This corpse. No, How did this person get in? May I ask where you are? The young man in white bowed politely. His clothes were destroyed by the ghost car, and now he was covered with tassels. He was very pretty. This is the demon-suppressing world. Chen Qing made up a name and asked, who are you? Where are you from? My family is quite wealthy. If you can send me back, I will give you this jade pendant. He touched his waist and his face changed immediately. Hey, where is my jade pendant? Where is my jade pendant? Then he noticed his embarrassed appearance and immediately covered his chest with his hands, feeling very embarrassed. Chen Qing threw him a set of clothes. Brother and these ghosts. Oh, ghosts, ghosts. He screamed and hid back subconsciously. He bumped into the fat man with a bang. Then he looked at the monsters around him and screamed again. His eyes rolled up and he fainted on the ground. The coroner happened to be sitting next to him and touched his armpits casually. He woke up slowly. Looking at the many ghosts, his face turned pale with horror. Don't faint yet, these are my ghost pets. They won't hurt you. Hearing what Chen Qing said, the young man in white calmed down a little, but his face was still pale. Step by step in the pile of ghost pets, he found a gap and moved to Chen Qing's side, his voice trembling. This immortal, I'm sorry. Brother, where are you from? He was about to introduce himself, but suddenly stopped. His eyes were blank. For a long time, he frowned. Where am I from? Chen Qing frowned. I can't tell whether this guy is really stupid or just pretending to be stupid. The young man became anxious. Brother, I will stay with you for a few days. Although I don't remember, my family is rich. When my family finds this place, I will definitely give you a generous reward. Chen Qing thought to himself. Painted skin, what do you think? Master, what he said may be true, and he was not injured after being ravaged by the ghost car for so long. I think it is not simple. Otherwise, leave him here. Chen Qing nodded immediately. Okay. Then you go home and guard it, I will practice. Painted skin separated from Chen Qing's body, turned into Chen Qing's appearance, and disappeared in front of him. Brother, is there a place to cover my shame? I will change clothes. Chen Qing was startled, and suddenly realized that this place has always been bare, and now there are more and more ghost pets, so I have to build a house for them. Let Luanting set aside a small space for him to change clothes. When he came out again, he had become a pretty boy. I wonder what your name is, brother. Chen Qing. What about you? The pretty boy frowned and thought for a long time, then shook his head and said, I don't remember, but I vaguely remember that I had a reputation, and I seem to be a scholar. Okay, then I'll call you a scholar from now on. The ghost meter tested it, and the ghost energy value of the scholar was 0. Chen Qing thought it was strange. Tut, he is actually an old pervert. Chen Qing cursed. The two flew quickly to Chen Qing and stopped. The flower-waisted bride bowed gracefully. I greet the master. The ghost car buzzed. Meet the master. Can this guy talk? Chen Qing was stunned and immediately asked, why did you chase the scholar before? The ghost car buzzed again. Scholar. Chen Qing pointed to the side. It's him. I was ordered by Lord Zhu to find him and a jade ruyi, but when I found him, he was unconscious and the jade ruyi had disappeared. So I was very angry and beat him. I beat him all the way here. Lord Zhu. Chen Qing narrowed his eyes. It was the candle snake again. The things that the candle snake cares about are never simple. The origin of the scholar may be more terrifying. He asked again, what is the jade ruyi? The jade ruyi is the jade ruyi. Chen Qing looked at his bowl-sized eyes and the clear stupidity revealed in them, and gave up asking further questions. Painted skin, what is Yu Ruyi? It is a ghost pet of the evil spirit level, somewhat similar to possession, but extremely rare, perhaps as rare as gold and silver. Legend has it that it has great fortune. I have only heard of it. Painted skin explained and asked, Master, is it related to the young master? Yes, he is now called Shokai. He repeated what Gush said. Painted skin knew all of Chen Qing's secrets, and the two went to the summit together. At that moment, he also said, then I'm afraid this gentleman, scholar, the status of the scholar is not ordinary. Could it be the human emperor my brother mentioned? Impossible, master, Painted skin said with a smile. Our small temple can't bear the luck of the human emperor. If it is the human emperor, I will be seriously injured if I only take a look at it. Okay. Chen Qing looked at the ghost car. By the way, has the infernal fire been with you all the time? Can you find it? The ghost car hummed. Yes. Chen Qing was happy in his heart. There is still hope for the infernal fire skeleton. But now he has no means to keep this thing, and he still has to wait for Zhang Kui. With an idea, he asked Painted Skin again. Now there are more and more people. I plan to build some houses for you. Are there any ghost pets who are good at this? Luan Ting. He can do this with half the effort. Chen Qing thought about it. That's right. He can reorganize the space and do whatever he wants. He called the ghost car and the flower-waisted bride to his side and said, go find a feng shui treasure land. We are going to build a house. The ghost car and the flower-waisted bride left with cheers. Of course, the old pervert, the ghost car, kept staring at the bottom of the girl's skirt. Chen Qing didn't want to care either. It was a matter of one willing to fight and the other willing to be beaten. All the ghost pets sat around the big golden fat man and the armless golden body. The golden centipedes formed a circle around the 12 heavenly kings. The ghost pets born in the abandoned baby tower were obviously at the bottom and could only be kept far away. With the addition of the golden centipede, the training speed of the ghost pets increased by more than 4 times, plus the 10-fold time flow rate difference of the third layer, a full 40 times. This is an extremely scary concept. Others ghost pets have practiced for 9 days, and this group of guys have practiced for a year. Chen Qing sat cross-legged. After contracting Zhang Kui, Chen Qing's physique and soul power improved greatly. From the initial entry of the spirit, he directly touched the threshold of the nether spring. The huge improvement of soul power has many benefits. The speed of expanding spiritual veins is 5 or 6 times faster than before. Chen Qing quietly cultivates the Taoist tradition of Duobao Taoist. From barely being able to activate 8 strands at the same time, to now being able to control 32 strands. The first level of the spiritual pool realm requires the construction of a vortex composed of dozens to hundreds of spiritual veins. Time passed quickly, and on the 3rd day, Chen Qing's spiritual pool was completed. Thinking about building a solid foundation, he did not stop, but continued to expand new spiritual veins. 60, 70, 80. Soon a week has passed. The number of spiritual veins has exceeded 300, densely packed. After another week, the number of spiritual veins reached 727. At this time, the spiritual veins are so dense that no other spiritual veins can be inserted. Chen Qing slowly opened his eyes, and the only thing missing was the spiritual object in the center. What should I choose? Demon Suppression Tower. Zhang Kui map. The old man was very angry, but he was still very young. In this life, the Zhang Kui map had little presence in Chen Qing's hands. This was because Chen Qing was strong enough and was always on the offensive, rarely on the defensive. Secondly, it was because Chen Qing had narrowed the coverage of the Zhang Kui map to just cover his house. In the previous life, the soaring Zhang Kui phantom was a symbol of invincibility. If anyone could survive the waves of blood moons, it would only be the Wu family holding the Zhang Kui map. Even a powerful candle snake might not be able to do anything to the Zhang Kui map. Chen Qing pondered. He sorted out all the treasures in his hand, including Pegasus, relics, big golden fatty, etc. But in the end, his thoughts returned to the Demon Suppression Tower and the Zhang Kui map. In the previous life, these 2 treasures were on par. But in this life, I know that the Demon Suppression Tower has 7 floors, that the Demon Suppression Tower suppresses a peerless evil creature called the Earthly Branches Soldier, and that the summit will. I will no longer think that the 2 are at the same level. The power of the Demon Suppression Tower is far beyond imagination. And now I will no longer use the Demon Suppression Tower to fight, that is simply using jade to hoe the ground. What's more, the Demon Suppression Tower is placed in the head and can be called at any time. It may play a different role in some occasions. After thinking about it, I finally decided to choose the Demon Suppression Tower. Back to the real world. Chen Qing took out the Demon Suppression Tower and carefully held it in front of his forehead according to the instructions of the technique. Silently operate the Duobao Spirit Pool. A strong suction force soon came from the Duobao Spirit Pool, which firmly tied the Demon Suppression Tower to his forehead. Then, the Demon Suppression Tower was still dragged into the head. Slowly embedded in the forehead. Hiss. Chen Qing gritted his teeth, feeling a pain of bone tearing. The demon suppression tower was pulled little by little, sinking into the forehead little by little, as if a lump of iron slowly sank into the magma. Finally, Chen Qing, who had been holding back, let out a scream. Ah! Chen Man hurried over and saw two Chen Qings here, without any surprise. Seeing Chen Qing in pain as if he was about to die, he squatted down and said seriously, "Good thing." Painted Skin looked at Chen Man in surprise. This guy is very stupid. But he can see the essence of many things at a glance. Chen Man said that he was fine, but then he stayed by Chen Qing's side. Uncle Shaw stumbled over. "Chen Qing. What's wrong?" Chen Man said. "Chen Qing is fine. He is going to become more powerful." Uncle Shaw felt relieved a little, but he stamped his feet anxiously when he heard the sound of giving birth. Chen Qing's consciousness was already a little fuzzy, but he still endured and continued to practice the skills. The tower was half the size of a cigarette, but he felt like a mountain was stuffed into his body. It was too big. A few minutes later, Chen Qing even fainted briefly. Fortunately, he was awakened by the Painted Skin who had been guarding him. Chen Qing hated it. This behavior, translated into, get up, feel the pain, experience the pain, accept the pain, understand the pain. The whole process lasted for 2 hours. The demon-suppressing tower finally appeared in the center of the spirit pool. Okay. Chen Qing, who was already covered in cold sweat, said this and fainted. When Painted Skin was about to help, Chen Man had already picked up Chen Qing, came to the bedroom, gently put him on the bed, and covered him with a quilt. Then he sat down by the bed, looked at Chen Qing carefully, and guarded Chen Qing. Chen Qing's world has many things and many people. But Chen Man's world has always been Chen Qing. This sleep lasted a long time. When Chen Qing woke up, he saw Chen Man beside the bed. He opened his eyes and looked straight at him, as if smiling. But why was it so slow? In an instant, Chen Qing had reacted. He opened his mouth in surprise and lifted the quilt, only to see that the quilt was falling back to the bed at a very slow speed. This is... Chen Qing couldn't believe it, and threw his mobile phone casually, and saw that the mobile phone fell slowly, and slowly. Just like the weightless scenes of the space station played on TV before. It's not that they are slowing down, it's that I'm getting faster. After Chen Qing did all this, Chen Man slowly said the first word. Chen Qing, I'm invincible. Combined with the golden light, it's simply invincible. Thinking of this, a feeling of fatigue filled his body, and Chen Qing fell dizzy on the bed. In the eyes of Painted Skin, Chen Qing almost became a shadow. He didn't see what he did and fell on the bed again. When he woke up again, Chen Qing became much more cautious. Experiment with fingers first, move fingers one by one. But in front of Painted Skin, Chen Qing's fingers have almost become vibrators. Inserted in cement, they can probably be used as vibration pumps. His demon suppression tower is a time tower, and it is probably because of this reason that he has the ability to control the flow of time. But now he can't control it at all. And this thing consumes a lot of spiritual power, and it can drain himself in just a moment. While summarizing, he quickly absorbed a piece of spiritual stone and finally got rid of the feeling of powerlessness. The person who tied the bell should untie it, and the problem should be the demon suppression tower in the spirit pool. Looking inward with spiritual consciousness, Chen Qing found that the spirit pool was spinning rapidly around the demon suppression tower. Hundreds of spiritual veins connected to the demon suppression tower, and spiritual power was constantly input and output. And the spiritual energy flowing out of the demon suppression tower covered his whole body. This is why he controls time. Find the reason, and the next thing will be much easier. Chen Qing fumbled for a moment and stopped the spirit pool. All the slow-moving objects around him instantly returned to normal. Chen Man asked, Chen Qing, are you feeling better? Haha, I'm fine. Chen Qing knew that he must have stayed up all night to watch over him. He rubbed his head. Are you sleepy? Come up and sleep. Sleepy. Chen Man nodded, took off his shoes and put them in place, yawned and leaned against Chen Qing, and snored in a moment. I really envy the brotherhood between the master and the young master. Huapi sighed. Chen Qing was not gossipy and did not ask more. Huapi changed the subject. Master, have you gained the ability to control time? Yes, but I'm not very good at it yet. Huapi was overjoyed when he heard this. Then the master's combat power may have surpassed all ghost pets, second only to the great god Zhang Kui. Chen Qing was stunned. Yes, with the golden light on the ground and the speed of time, as long as you are proficient, you can kill anyone you see. I am afraid that I have stabbed the opponent dozens of times during the battle, and the opponent has not finished introducing himself yet. When thinking of this, how can Chen Qing hold back? A thought came to the third floor of the Demon Suppression Tower. Martial Champion, come and fight. Martial Champion is not afraid of challenges, holding his long spear horizontally, and has already opened his posture. A golden light flashed, and Chen Qing had already arrived in front of him. Martial Champion was shocked. He extended his right elbow and stabbed Chen Qing's lower abdomen with the long spear at the same time. Attack and defense, wonderful skills. But it was too slow. Chen Qing had already arrived behind the Martial Champion, and his finger touched his neck through the gap between the helmet and the armor. Martial Champion was stunned. Chen Qing was proud. How is it? The martial arts champion sighed, threw the long spear on the ground, and sighed, I am no longer a match for 10,000 people. Chen Qing was slightly stunned. No, you can't afford to lose. Just a sparring match, what's wrong, did it break your heart? The martial arts champion sighed. I am a match for 9,999 people. The enemy is 9,999 people. Chen Qing's eyelids twitched when he heard this. This guy is arrogant, confident, and quite serious. Just when he was happy, the flower-waisted bride arrived on the ghost car. The ghost car still stared at the flower-waisted bride's skirt with its big eyes. This guy has been looking at her for a few days. Isn't he tired of it? The flower-waisted bride bowed gracefully, with the red veil on her head as steady as a rock. Master, we have explored and there are 8 places suitable for building a camp. Just go to the best place you choose. Chen Qing and the flower-waisted bride both stood on the face of the ghost car. Immediately rushed at lightning speed. Chen Qing had a psychological shadow on the ghost car, and looked down. Sure enough, this guy is still looking at the bottom of the flower-waisted bride's skirt. Even Chen Qing's crotch was also looking. Chen Qing stepped heavily on his eyeballs, still looking. The ghost car screamed and almost knocked the two to the ground. It finally stabilized its body and finally retracted its gaze. It rushed at full speed and soon arrived at the destination. There was actually a waterfall. And this waterfall actually fell from the sky. The upper end spread too long and disappeared in the chaos, and it was unclear where it came from. Flowing down from the upper layer. Chen Qing couldn't help but wonder. I wanted to ride on Pegasus, but now I realized that I could fly. With a thought, I used the golden light. I had already reached hundreds of meters in the air, I had no idea how many meters. It was my first time playing like this, so I was a little nervous. But I soon stabilized and teleported again. I rose hundreds of meters again. Looking down, the waterfall was thin and long, like a rope. The ghost car and the flower-waist bride were almost invisible. Going up, it was already chaos. I didn't know if it was fog or something, it was gray. Chen Qing didn't dare to go deeper. He was not Zhang Kui, and he didn't have the strength and confidence to travel freely in the chaos. After a few golden lights, Chen Qing had returned to the ground. The ghost car and the flower-waist bride were stunned. The flower-waist bride was a little excited. Master, can you take me up to see it? Yes. The flower-waist bride immediately rushed over and hugged Chen Qing. Chen Qing held her waist and held her tightly. A golden light brought her into the air. Ah! The bride with a flowery waist screamed and wrapped her legs around Chen Qing's waist. She was so tight. She looked out boldly. Wow! Ah! The two were falling, and the bride with a flowery waist went from being surprised to being terrified. Chen Qing had no choice but to take out the flying horse, and the two sat on it. The bride with a flowery waist looked at this barren land in a daze. You are covered with a veil, can you see it? Yes, the bride with a flowery waist laughed crisply, like a high school girl. Of course, if someone helps me lift the veil, I can see it more clearly. Forget it. Chen Qing shook his head. If he really lifted it, there would probably be a wedding scene. A man as tall as himself should stay single. After riding the flying horse for a while, the man and the ghost landed again. Chen Qing was quite satisfied with this place. It was not easy to find a place with mountains and water in the wasteland on the third floor. After a few golden lights, Chen Qing returned to the open space on the land. Moving, he put away all the ghost pets and brought the scholar to the waterfall. After putting them all down, the ghost pets looked at this place, but they didn't seem to care too much. For them, a house, how can it be as comfortable as staying next to the golden body? A place with a golden body is a first-class place even if you roast your butt by fire. Just like before, the golden centipedes formed a circle, and the big golden fat and the armless golden body were also placed in the circle. This is the CBD of the third floor of the Demon Suppression Tower. The core members are all here, and the crazy ghost may be allowed to enter here because of the aura bonus of the first ghost pet. The ghosts produced by the abandoned baby tower can only cruise far away on the periphery. Of course, compared to the wandering souls in the outside world, the speed of improvement can be compared to flying. Let the chaotic court start to arrange the construction, and Chen Qing also immersed in the practice. In the real world, Huapi is very responsible, always staying in front of the surveillance, and going to the upstairs window every 10 minutes. She is really responsible. She has a miserable life and has suffered a lot of inhuman torture. So she cherishes this great opportunity of Chen Qing. She is smart and clever, and she can learn many things at once. For example, mobile phones, like the appliances in the kitchen, or the family farm. Chen Qing has a huge amount of food, but he didn't plan to grow a family farm at all. He built such a large farm just to be prepared. But Huapi took the tools and started growing them according to the instructions. There were 2 mobile phones on the side, one playing the surveillance footage, and the other kept beeping. She also applied for WeChat and joined most of the community groups. She took a look at the messages in the group and didn't say anything. The 2nd of March 401 Lu Shui. Impossible, Chen Qing is a murderer. Why should we rely on a murderer? The 1st of July 502 Hiyiru. Sister Lu, everyone sympathizes with you, but in fact, it was wrong to go to Chen Qing that time. To put it nicely, it was to unify supplies, but everyone knows that it was just robbery. They were acting in self-defense. Self-defense, killed the 13th person, and you said it was self-defense. The 3rd of February 602 Gao Jian. In special times, we must be flexible, we have no choice. Weren't you at the scene the day before yesterday? 2 people. They were inexplicably killed by invisible things. The 1st of January 402 Yuan Qingchang. Good death. That Gao Fei is a poisonous woman. Her men at home make her feel that the men in the world are so bullying. If she is Chen Qing, she will not be able to spare her. 2 to 401 Lu Shui. You are shameless. You recognize the thief as a father. You must not die. The 2nd of March 401 Lu Shui has been kicked out of the group and talked about. The 1st of July 502 Hiyuro. Let me try it today. But everyone, don't look forward to too much. Soon, Hiyuro came to Chen Qing. At the time, I stopped. This is a tall woman with long hair like a waterfall. Like a carefully painted painting, her beauty goes deep into every detail. The proud curves show a thrilling charm. Eyes like stars, lips like cherry blossoms, and skin is extremely delicate. Even with the most discerning eyes, everything about this woman interprets what is perfect. Especially, she is still wearing pajamas. Huapi looked at Hiyiru calmly. What's wrong? This, Chen Qing. Hiyiru stammered for a long time, and finally said the purpose. We want to ask Chen Qing to be the defense officer of Zhongpan community. Huapi shook his head gently. Chen Qing doesn't want to. After that, he chuckled and said, Girl, go back. Hiyiru left involuntarily and lost her soul. She didn't even insist once. She was very confident in her appearance, figure, and knowledge, but this time, just one glance, she was crushed in all directions. Huapi smiled at the direction she left. For many, many years, she had shown others her face. But this time, the one who saw her true face was a stranger. It was strange. Suddenly, a buzzing sound interrupted Painted Skin's thoughts. Painted Skin's eyes focused. Sword Chi. After a few steps to the top of the building, she saw the bronze sword floating in the air with a slight buzzing sound. There was a brilliant light on her body, and a sword chi was accumulated but not released, but she already had the momentum to look down on the world. The old man was so angry that he was about to die. Master, come quickly. Painted Skin immediately called Chen Qing. Chen Qing rushed over and saw the bronze sword suspended in the air. What is this? This sword has a sword spirit. Master, this is a great opportunity. Sword spirit. Chen Qing was slightly startled. When a spiritual weapon awakens, there is a very small chance of generating a weapon spirit. A spiritual weapon with a weapon spirit has many magical uses. But this probability is so small that it is slim. Painted Skin cheered and suddenly remembered something. I'm afraid it has something to do with Shokai. Painted Skin said that Shokai has great luck. Chen Qing nodded. Chen Qing half believed this and asked, what should I do now? Put away the sword. This is the same as collecting other treasures. Chen Qing put away the sword and immediately felt a sense of spiritual connection. He wanted to try the sword, but after a circle, he didn't find a suitable target. When I was a child, I would beat a few innocent weeds when I picked up a straight stick. But now there is no target. I can't go to the kitchen to cut vegetables. When I came to the third floor of the demon suppression tower and was looking for a target, the Painted Skin said again, Master, come and take a look. Once again back home, the Painted Skin pointed at the surveillance. Chen Qing's eyes gradually condensed, and the murderous intent surged. At the gate of the community, two people came with the monkey. One side of the monkey's face was swollen, almost blocking his eyes. There was a bloody hole where the lower jaw was connected to the neck, and it was still bleeding. The arm was obviously deformed and should have been broken. Without a trace of hesitation, Chen Qing put on the Painted Skin. A flash of golden light already appeared at the gate of the community. The newly acquired bronze sword thrust out directly. This man reacted very quickly and barely dodged it. He was able to dodge such a sudden attack. However, Chen Qing had time to speed up. Everything in front of him became slow motion. The bronze sword slowly cut his neck without any obstruction. A head flew into the sky. The head didn't even fly up a foot, and the sword had already been delivered to the second person's throat. The flow of time returned to normal. Tang! The head fell to the ground. The second person covered his neck in disbelief, with large streams of blood gushing out from between his hands. He widened his eyes and slowly knelt on the ground. Monkey was stunned, and the exclamation came out. Chen Qing quickly supported him. His pulse was rapid, his body was shaking, and he could go into shock at any time. Chen Qing, my parents will give. You can't die. He supported the monkey and summoned a hanged ghost with one thought, pointing to a corpse and the man who was breathing his last breath. It should still be useful, right? The hanged ghost nodded vigorously. A golden light flashed. He had brought the monkey to the medical room. The monkey looked at it blankly and sighed weakly. I'm a fool. The coroner appeared in front of him and immediately began to treat the monkey's wound. In just a moment, the wounds healed together and the fractures were intact. If it weren't for the large amount of blood on his body, and the paleness and weakness caused by excessive blood loss, it would be completely invisible that he was seriously injured. Let him absorb a piece of spirit stone, and the monkey finally recovered. The monkey stared blankly at his blood and intact body. Godfather, you saved my life. Where did those two people come from? From the Ji family. Chen Qing was slightly startled. The monkey took a sip of glucose. I've been training 2 ghost pets nearby these past 2 days. Wu Zhuangyuan is really awesome. Even if you encounter an evil ghost, few can withstand a few of his sticks. I thought that if I meet a suitable one, I would take it as the 3rd ghost pet. I was training by the river tonight and ran into a water monkey. I almost suffered a big loss. Then guess what I ran into? I won't guess. Quote. The monkey rolled his eyes. The ghost killing team is chasing the ghost controlling army. Chen Qing was stunned and suspected that he had heard it wrong. What did you say? Really? Didn't you read the text message? What text message? Chen Qing took out his mobile phone. He saw several text messages. At the beginning, it was the news of the ghost tide, and some simple ways to defend against ghosts were attached. There was a message from 2 days ago. A ghost disaster has occurred in Ziming City, and our defense force can no longer stop the ghost tide. From now on, we will form a defense alliance with the Rakshasa tribe and advance and retreat together. The Rakshasa tribe is brave and good at fighting, and has a hot temper. Please do not conflict with them. Chen Qing cursed fiercely. No wonder! Exclamation mark. No wonder the Ghost Slayers acted as guards for the Ghost Clan's corpse-driving officers when he was at the stadium. But Chen Qing calmed down and realized a very serious problem. The ghost tide is too terrible, and now it is only the first and weakest blood moon. What about the second and third blood moons? What can humans use to resist? After a while, Chen Qing still shook his head, no give or take. The monkey continued. Then there should be a commander in the Ghost Control Army who does not accept surrender and leads the Ghost Control Army to deal with the ghost that appeared in the sky on the first day. Candle Snake. Yes, that's the name, and then the Ghost Control Army is gone. Now I heard that the commander is dead, and most of the Ghost Control Army is dead. I sent a message to the captain, but there has been no reply. Maybe it's gone too. The monkey shook his head. The sky has changed. You haven't told me how you met those two people. I was covering a brother of the Ghost Control Army by the river, and a group of ghost slayers came and found us. I can't beat them. They have an evil spirit level, evil earth marquee. The butcher was seriously injured after just one encounter. The martial arts champion can still hold on, but they are outnumbered. The two fools just attacked me. Quote. They have a facial recognition phone and scanned my information. Someone said that this is the community in charge of Ji Luo. Ji Luo has not been heard from for several days, so they asked the three of them to escort me to see. They said they would come to arrest you again. I found an opportunity to kill one of them halfway, and they beat me like this. Chen Qing gave a thumbs up. Man. The monkey laughed and asked after a while, Chen Qing, I'm afraid we can't stay any longer. Where to go next? I'll listen to you. Chen Qing was silent. He suddenly felt powerless. What was he in this mighty trend? Just thinking about it, there was a knock at the door. Chen Qing was slightly startled, and a familiar person appeared in the surveillance. Han Yuan. Chen Qing did not open the door. Captain, is there something wrong? Han Yuan said in a deep voice. Chen Qing, do you trust me? Chen Qing can trust Han Yuan's character. This is the real person who shines in the doomsday. But too many things have happened in this life. Chen Qing does not want to take risks. I'm sorry, I don't want to take risks. Han Yuan was slightly stunned. He said angrily. Throw out a rope or handcuffs, I will handcuff myself, okay. Chen Qing smiled slightly. He suddenly remembered that with his current strength, he was not afraid of Han Yuan at all. Come to the 5th floor, I'll open the door for you. After closing the passage from the 5th floor to the 6th floor, Chen Qing opened the door for Han Yuan on the 5th floor. Han Yuan looked heavy and sat on the sofa for a long time. Then he slowly said, 3 of the 8 pillars of humanity's strongest fighting force have died. The commander is about to die, and I have a mission for you. Chen Qing was about to refuse, but Han Yuan pushed a piece of paper over. Child ghost right pointing arrow night crying child right pointing arrow fat baby right pointing arrow jade boy right pointing arrow red boy. Drowned ghost right pointing arrow water monkey right pointing arrow kappa right pointing arrow water lord right pointing arrow Qiancheng river the lord of the underworld. Chen Qing's eyes suddenly condensed. When he saw the names, Red Boy, and Qiancheng River the Lord of the Underworld, his head buzzed and he almost fell down. The commander said that as long as you accept the mission, he will give you the complete spirits of the child ghost and the drowned ghost. The old man was very happy. I'm sorry, I'm just a spirit realm. Chen Qing shook his head. I don't even dare to accept a mission that costs so much. The value of this spirit guide is inestimable. The value of evil ghost and evil spirit level spirit guides is already priceless. And the spirit guide of the Taoist corpse level is a treasure even for a force of the size of the Ghost Control Army. Now there are 5 levels, which means there is another level after the Taoist corpse level. Chen Qing asked himself if he was capable of taking this level of spirit guide. Sorry, I can neither surrender to the ghosts, nor turn the tide to be a hero who saves the people. I just want to guard this house and spend my life with my brother in peace. Do you think your house can stop the candle snake? Even if it can stop ghosts, can it stop explosives? Chen Qing was silent. It can't be stopped. As long as the equivalent is enough, there is no house that will not be breached. So Chen Qing has already begun to think about retreating. Anyway, the things in the demon suppression tower are enough for several people to live for several lifetimes. It's okay to leave here and find a place in the wilderness to make do and live. This mission will allow you to keep everything you have. Han Yuan looked directly at Chen Qing. I don't know why the commander chose you, but you might as well listen to the content of the mission and make a decision. Okay, you say, surrender. We want you to surrender. Be an undercover. Chen Qing was silent. What exactly to do? Collect as much information as possible about the candle snake and Ji Wei, and confirm whether the Asura god exists. With a buzzing sound, Chen Qing felt dizzy again. Unlike the previous times, this time Chen Qing felt that there was something extremely dark, trying to cross an endless distance to infect him. He quickly activated the spirit pool, which resolved this feeling. What an evil existence. Chen Qing didn't dare to think about this name again. He looked at Han Yuan. Han Yuan could name this existence, which meant that he was one level higher than him. After the blood contract with Zhang Kui, his soul power and physique increased by leaps and bounds, and now he has reached the edge of the Nether Spring realm. Perhaps it was because of this that Chen Qing could face the information of the existence of the Tao Corpse level. But the news above the Tao Corpse level was still unbearable. He calmed down and asked again, where is Ji Wei? The former 8 pillars, the first traitor of the human race. If it weren't for his betrayal this time, we might have won the battle with the candle snake. Because of his betrayal, 3 pillars died. Let anyone go, but don't let this dog thief go. Chen Qing was silent. He killed Ji Luo, and this time he killed 2 members of the Ji family. There was no room for easing. Han Yuan obviously saw that Chen Qing could not bear the name he just said, and said vaguely, we can't confirm whether that evil existence exists. If it really exists, it will be a great disaster for mankind. The force that invaded this time is called Luoxia High City. The Luoxia clan is the nobles who rule Luoxia High City. And above it, there is another clan called Shira, which is the royal family. The Shira's combat power is terrible. Almost all of them have the ability to fight across levels. Fortunately, there are few people. According to the current information, the Wandering Soul level is called Shira. The Evil Ghost level has 3 known forms, Qing Luo, Yu Luo, and Shui Luo. The Evil Spirit level is called Asura. Although Asura is only an evil spirit level, it can already fight with the power of the Pillar Country level. Fight. Above it, there is the Shira King, and the commander was seriously injured by the Shira King. This is almost a force that humans cannot match. And above it, there is another level, which is the evil existence I just mentioned to you. If it really exists, the situation of humans is very dangerous. It is precisely because of these unmatched forces, coupled with our disastrous defeat in the battle with the Candle Snake, that the captain of the Ghost Slayer team, Kanjian, also betrayed. Now there is a problem within the Ghost Control Army, and the commander dare not trust his former comrades anymore. Maybe for this reason, he found you. Chen Qing was puzzled. What about you? Aren't you more trustworthy than me? Me. Han Yuan smiled and said, do you believe I will betray? Chen Qing was silent. Yes, no one would believe that this great and glorious guy would betray. Han Yuan added, you don't need to do anything. To put it bluntly, you just have an additional identity of a good citizen. You only need to passively receive information and you can still live your life peacefully. If they come to you and ask you to do a task, then you just need to complete the task. Chen Qing, do you agree? I agree. Chen Qing had no choice. Chen Man and Shaw, uncle, monkey can't be brought into the demon suppression tower. A world full of ghosts. There is no way to escape. What's more, as Han Yuan said, he just needs to live his own life peacefully. I guess now a bunch of traitors are eager to show themselves, no matter what dirty work there is a bunch of people rushing to do. Where is Lingyan? Follow me. Han Yuan. The two came downstairs, and unexpectedly, there was a woman waiting downstairs. This woman, the surveillance camera can't capture it. She stood there timidly, not daring to look up at the two. Hold hands. When she spoke, although she lowered her head, she could feel that her face was already red. As she spoke, silence came between the two and held their hands on the left and right. An indescribable aura enveloped the 3 people. It should be some kind of invisibility. The 3 kept walking, and the ghosts wandering on the street ignored the 3. Ziming City is not small. The 3 walked for 40 minutes and came to a shopping mall. There is a secret door in the underground 2nd floor of the mall, and behind it is a natural cave. The terrain in the cave is complicated. After walking around for 10 minutes, we finally arrived at an underground base. A simple room. There are more than 10 people in it, all wearing the uniforms of the Ghost Guard. A middle-aged man was in high spirits. When he saw Chen Qing coming in, he smiled and said, "How is Chen Man?" "Very good, practicing every day. This should be the commander. This child must be trained well. I have never seen a second one with this talent in my life." Chen Qing nodded. The commander pointed to another room and said, "There, go." Han Yuan brought Chen Qing to this room, and his eyes suddenly condensed. In the room, there are 40 babies who are sleeping soundly. The commander said, "Don't have any psychological burden. They are all dead." Chen Qing was silent. The spiritual guide for the child ghost to advance to the night-crying child is to absorb the essence of 7 babies. Chen Qing thought he was cruel enough, but he couldn't do anything to the baby. So, the child ghost has not been promoted until now. After a while, Chen Qing asked, "Why do you say they can't survive?" "Both parents are dead, and the current conditions can't continue to support them." Chen Qing was silent again. After a while, he sighed, "Sorry, I thought I could be cruel, but I can't." The commander smiled. The invisible woman waved her hand, and the scene inside changed. It was still a sleeping baby, but these babies had a dark blue complexion and curved and pointed nails, which were obviously not human children. Han Yuan laughed. "I knew you wouldn't do such a thing. This is the last test for you. What if I don't pass? Then find someone else." These inside. These were killed by the evil spirit level, fat babies. On the first day of the blood moon, all the children in Jiangdong Garden community and within 500 meters of the community died of laughter. All of them, not one was left. There is a baby care center. For some reason, all the babies in it turned into ghost babies. Just to promote you to a child ghost. Understood. Chen Qing nodded. The commander would not know that Chen Qing had smeared a little Zhang Kui blood on his eyelids when he walked out of the house. The illusions on these ghost babies had no effect on him. The sentence, "I don't want to kill babies," may be sincere, or it may be acting. The ghost child was so young that he could not eat. Chen Qing released the ghost child. The ghost child was confused and came to the first ghost baby. Gently, he broke off its hand, opened its mouth and started eating. The ghost baby's body must be tougher than that of a human child, but in front of the ghost child, it seemed to be made of tofu. No matter where he grabbed a piece, it was easy. In this way, he grabbed and ate, and soon, the ghost child ate several ghost babies. And his stomach did not grow significantly. Finally, the ghost child was chewing an ear and eating happily, and suddenly disappeared. Chen Qing was startled and looked around, but there was no trace. "Don't look. No one has ever seen Nightingale. This thing is neither invisible nor as small as dust, but it is invisible and intangible." Indeed, Chen Qing could feel him, but he couldn't tell where he was. Tried. Collect. Fortunately, Nightingale was successfully collected in the Demon Suppression Tower. Take this. When you have information, write it on it and we can see it. It was a piece of leather the size of a tissue, very soft, like a piece of cloth. Take this back to Chen Man. Absorb the blood and qi inside. The commander handed over a bone. "Thank you, Commander." Although he didn't see anything special, he still collected it solemnly. "Then Nightingale, you take Chen Qing back." Looking at the bone in his hand, Chen Qing thought for a while. "Commander, I have something to say, and only you can listen." "You all go out." Everyone went out. Chen Qing asked again, "Is there any surveillance?" "No." The commander became more interested and waited for Chen Qing to continue. The coroner appeared in front of him. The commander frowned slightly, because in the intelligence, Chen Qing only had 2 ghost pets, the hanged ghost and the warrior. The child ghost is the third one. Only 3 can be contracted in the spirit realm. What about the one in front of him? "Commander, this is the coroner. He is very good at medical treatment, maybe he can take a look at you." The commander laughed and said, "You idiot, if the coroner can treat the injuries caused by the Shira King, it won't be scary." "I can't live anymore." The commander shook his head, as if he was talking about something ordinary. "Don't worry about it, do what you have to do. Go." Chen Qing nodded, wanted to say take care, felt it was inappropriate, and left in silence. After a while, everyone filed in, and a black-faced man asked, Commander, It's okay, I got a good pill and wanted to treat my injuries. Outside, Nightingale took Chen Qing's hand and walked slowly in the night. With Nightingale's power, the ghosts on the street ignored the two. Nightingale's hands were small, soft, and cold. Chen Qing was very calm, but Nightingale's face flushed and her body was tense. Nightingale tried to find words. The commander said that you can take over his job. Chen Qing was a little stunned. It's not that he thinks he can't do it, but he showed too little. How did the commander judge? He has been paying attention to you for a long time, and he basically knows everything about you. Chen Qing was silent. Why don't you want to? It's troublesome. I can't even take care of myself. How can I have the confidence to command a bunch of people? By the way, don't we have Han Yuan? But the commander said that the captain has a heart of a bodhisattva, not thunderous means. Your ability is invisibility. Well, my blood contract ghost pet is an assassin. Chen Qing nodded, thinking of Guxing. Chen Qing is not good at chatting, and Nightingale thinks so too. It felt like a long time had passed before the two of them arrived at the gate of Zhongpan community. Then, Chen Qing stopped. There were 6 ghost-killing team members at the gate of the community. At this moment, they were observing the bloodstains on the ground that was left by the 2 people from the Ji family killed by Chen Qing. Both of them were killed here. The person who did it is probably in this community. There was a ghost among them, who looked like a human, wearing animal skins, carrying a bow and arrow, and was sniffing something on the ground very vigilantly. Especially a pool of blood in the middle. The animal skin ghost sniffed deeply, suddenly raised his head, and stared at the 2 people who were invisible. Chen Qing moved. Luan Ting appeared first and blocked Nightingale. A golden light flashed, and he appeared in front of the 6 people. The speed of time flowed, and a sword. A head rose from the shoulder, and then, the second sword. Another head left the shoulder. The third person was horrified and barely dodged. The bronze sword brushed the skin on his neck and cut it. He thought he had missed, but suddenly a sword light burst out. Crack! The third head has already flown up. The speed of time could not last too long, and Chen Qing felt exhausted in just this moment. With a thought, the martial arts champion, the ghost car, the flower-waist bride, and the coroner appeared in front of him. Chen Qing retreated to the back with a golden light, took out a spiritual stone and quickly absorbed it. The flower-waist bride swung her bracelet violently, and several small lumps suddenly appeared on the 3 people in the ghost. The warrior swept over with a long spear, and a heavy spear smashed a head. The remaining 2 were horrified, shouting and running. Tunfeng! Butcher! As he shouted, 2 ghosts appeared in front of him. Chen Qing was stunned. There was actually a butcher. This thing is rare. The white bone spirit appeared, and as soon as they met, 10 bone chains instantly entangled Tunfeng and the butcher. At this time, the flower-waisted bride slapped the small drum on her waist. Bang! The swellings on the 2 people and the ghost were all broken, and small flowers appeared inside. The flowers seemed to have a huge weight, and one of them was crushed to the point of being unable to move. The other berserker relied on his strong body to support himself and crawled a few steps, but was crushed into meat paste by the ghost car. Chen Qing cut off the ghost master's legs with a sword. Answer me properly, and I'll give you a quick death. The ghost master was trembling all over, and he bit his teeth in pain. He looked at Chen Qing in horror. Another sword. His left arm was cut off at the root. The ghost master screamed, and his whole body was twitching slightly. Chen Qing pointed at the ghost in animal skin. What is this? Hunter, hunter, hunter. Good at tracking. Chen Qing nodded. What are you looking for? Looking for a corpse, but the 2 brothers Ji Kong died, so we looked, found here. Looking for the scholar again. Chen Qing frowned. What is that corpse used for? I don't know. Please, kill me. The last question, how many of you came? Where are the rest? In Wuhu Jiayuan, there are 60 people. Please, kill me. Okay. With a sword, his head flew up. Summon the hanged ghost and let him take his corpse away while it's hot and digest it. As soon as the master died, the hunter, the butcher, and the wind were all extremely weak. The butcher was rare and had explosive strength. It would be a pity to kill him, but the position was full again. This was the first time I saw a hunter. His combat power seemed a little weak, but his ability was also very useful. It would be a pity to kill him. It was a bit of a headache. Chen Qing killed the wind and said, "Take the hunter and the butcher downstairs and wait for me." The white bone spirit and a group of ghosts were all gone. With one thought, the ability of the chaos was withdrawn. Nightingale saw everything again and was immediately stunned. You. Chen Qing was slightly stunned. Hey, you appeared again. You suddenly disappeared just now, I was scared to death. Nightingale looked at Chen Qing with a sincere face, and dared not look him in the eye. Chen Qing said again, "Lady, just escort here, you go back early." Nightingale suddenly felt a little ridiculous. This guy can kill everyone in an instant, why does he need to protect himself? Combined with the commander's various comments on Chen Qing, I suddenly felt that the smiling boy in front of me was very scary. This is murder, but how can he be as calm as if he broke a few bowls? Seeing that she was still standing there, Chen Qing asked, "Why don't you go to my house and sit down?" No. Nightingale immediately shook her head and turned to flee. After cleaning up the scene, they returned downstairs. The white bone demon and the martial champion were guarding the butcher and the hunter. After the intense training and unlimited supply of ghost beads during this period, the white bone demon should be Chen Qing's strongest ghost pet at this moment. The butcher and the hunter had almost no room for resistance. Even though the bone chain penetrated his body and went back and forth for several circles, the butcher was still laughing, ha 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 ha. Chen Qing was entangled. All of his ghost pets were very useful, except for the crazy ghost, but Chen Qing didn't dare to move because this guy might involve Zhang Kui. Ghost car, coroner, chaotic court, hairy zombie, bone demon, water monkey, flower waste bride, night cry, martial arts champion, hanged ghost, abandoned baby tower, crazy ghost. After thinking about it, he summoned the abandoned baby tower. Let the hairy zombie force the hunter in with great force. The hole is too small, and the hunter is quite big. The scene is extremely cruel. But with the size of the butcher, it is impossible to squeeze in. Called the monkey. Monkey, there is another butcher, do you want it? The monkey hesitated for a while and shook his head. One is enough, I want to try my luck with the third one to see if I can find a doctor. Ha 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 ha. The butcher is still laughing wildly. Chen Qing slapped him hard in the face. Laugh at your uncle. Ding dong. New text message, opened and saw. The six paths are unfair, the gods are high above, immortal. Ghosts and humans are hardworking and pitiful, with a lifespan of no more than 100 years. Luoxia High City is willing to make peace with the human race for generations and build an eternal kingdom of God together. Whether monks or civilians, we must follow the way of the kingdom of God and practice the way of subjects, that is, we must strictly observe the hierarchy and follow the rules to become subjects of the kingdom of God. Chen Qing sneered, and said it very nicely. To sum it up, there are two sentences. First, we are friends, and I will take you to eternal life. Second, we must abide by the rules to be good citizens. Humans and Luoxia cannot coexist. What is Luoxia? It is a man-eating demon. Their food is human flesh, and they need human essence and blood to practice. Humans are called two-legged sheep in their mouths. But Chen Qing knows how powerful these two text messages are. Whether they are deceiving themselves or are really stupid enough to believe it, many people will use these words as a fig leaf to kneel down. Just like the Japanese disaster 100 years ago, the 6 words, Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere, became the reason for countless thieves to kneel down. Chen Qing was upset because he was about to become a traitor, although he was an undercover. The world has deviated from its original track. And the cause is most likely the words he said to Dao Guanji at the summit. The butterfly effect. Put away your thoughts, you have to register as a good citizen quickly. The berserkers, ghost masters, and spiritual practitioners in Ziming City are all recorded, and Luoxia will not let them go. The address for surrender registration is attached at the end of the text message, and the nearest one is located in. After taking a few deep breaths, a few golden lights have arrived at the alley not far from Ziming No. 2 Primary School. Walking out slowly, I saw that there were already a dozen people sparsely at the door. I'm sorry. Lord Rakshasa, I'm sorry. A man was being dragged out by a Rakshasa, struggling and screaming. A black iron hook pierced the man's calf, tearing a big hole. Chen Qing looked at the Rakshasa, his dark red face, as if burned, uneven. There were 2 asymmetrical horns on his head, like black bamboo shoots, and his hair and beard were red. Everyone looked at the man being dragged out, their faces were a little stiff. Rakshasa and Asura are the same, brave and good at fighting, irritable, and the days to come will be very sad. No matter how nice it sounds, it is still a traitor after all. Everyone did not communicate, and silently lowered their heads to line up. There were 2 large boards standing next to it, with the words, Ashura Divine Kingdom Rakshasi City. 4-class system. First class, Asura. Second class, Rakshasa, Yaksha, Dashi. The third class, Registered Human Cultivators, G Clan. The fourth class, Human Clan, Ghost Clan. Chen Qing looked at the word, G Clan, and just sneered. Being able to leave a name in the law of Luasha, honoring the ancestors, and leaving a name in history. There are also laws next to it, which are so simple that they can be summarized in 2 sentences. Superior people can kill inferior people. If inferior people kill superior people, the whole family will be executed by slow slicing. Soon, it was Chen Qing's turn. The person in charge of registration was a human. Name, Chen Qing. When this person heard Chen Qing's name, suddenly, his eyes narrowed slightly, and then he sneered. Chen Qing was a little confused, thinking that this could not be someone from the Ji family. The man stood up, looked at Chen Qing with a cold gaze, and leaned close to Chen Qing's ear. Chen Qing, right. Dare to kill my Ji family, wait and see how I will deal with you. He pointed to the name tag on his chest, which had the 3 words Ji Chenhui on it, remember my name. You, and your brother at home, will die in the insect prison. Believe me, the horror of the insect prison is you. Chen Qing suddenly raised his shoulder and hit him hard on the chin. With a click, the chin seemed to have been broken. Ji Chenhui staggered a few steps, his mouth full of blood, looked at Chen Qing in disbelief, and said with blood in his mouth, You are a person. Chen Qing took a step and punched Ji Chenhui's nose hard. Puff. Blood splattered everywhere, and the nose was deeply sunken. Ji Chenhui fell to the ground with a scream. Several Rakshasas were furious. They rushed over and punched Chen Qing with a few punches, but after hearing a bang, Chen Qing stood straight and motionless. Who is causing trouble? An angry shout came. A Rakshasas appeared, and this Rakshasas had 3 heads. The heads on both sides tried to look over here, but they couldn't see clearly. Chen Qing said loudly, I'm here to register, not to distinguish between humans and ghosts, but to see who is stronger. Rakshasa, you are stronger than me. You deserve my respect, so I surrender. But this person is cunning and insidious. He even threatened my family. If all the people in the Rakshasas are like this, it's better not to join. But please allow me to duel with him. Fight to the death. The 3-headed Rakshasas were stunned. All the human cultivators they saw today were trembling and timid. This was the first time they saw Chen Qing doing this. Luasha and Asura are the same, they only believe in fists. So Chen Qing's rudeness and wildness are just what he likes. He killed my Ji family. You mean Ji Luo? Chen Qing sneered. Ji Luo relied on his position as a defense officer and brought people to rob my family. What's wrong with me killing him? I not only killed him, but also killed the 12 people he brought with him. What do you think? A good man should do things openly. If I can't beat him, I deserve to be robbed and killed. But he is weak and dares to rob the strong, so he deserves to die. Chen Qing glared and roared, stiffening his neck, Lord Luasha, I don't believe it. I can go to our community for investigation. I can do it. He killed my family. My Ji family was the hero of the Rakshasi city. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.